The Random Jottings of Hinge and Bracket, with Dr. Evadne Hinge and Dame Hilda Bracket. With friends and neighbours at Stackton Faggot, Daphne Hurd, David Griffin, and Anthony Sharp. The Blenkinsop Bequest.
It's now a good many years since Evadne and I moved into the old manse in Stackton Tressel, and we settled down to our quiet village life. Well, when I say quiet, it isn't always quiet, not by any manner of means. For one thing, you see, the boundary line between the two parishes of Stackton Tressel and Stackton Harbour runs right through the middle of our sitting room. Well, this is a little inconvenient on Ascension days, when the parish officers and the clergy come beating the bounds with their little willow wands. But on the other hand, it does have its little compensations. After all, 20 or 30 men with willow wands can beat an awful lot of dust out of the back of an old settee. Apart from this, there are many things to occupy and divert us, which is why I have recently taken to jotting in a little exercise book a record of our day-to-day life here. Now, not many weeks ago, for example, I received a letter which was to result in us embarking on an entirely new venture, a venture towards which I knew Evadne would have to be most carefully coaxed. I say, Daphne, you remember the old music emporium in the High Street, don't you?
Yeah.
We used to enjoy popping in there at one time, didn't we?
Yes.
Such a pity when it closed.
Yes.
You're not very talkative this morning, now.
Hilda, I know very well that when you receive a solicitor's letter, read it and then put it straight into your handbag, you are up to something.
Oh, the letter, dear. Yes. So you saw it, did you? I was coming to that.
I was rather afraid you were. And I can tell by your tone of voice, Hilda, it is bad news.
Oh, no, dear, no, it isn't at all. It's lovely news. You remember old Miss Blenkinsop? Well, of course you do.
Yes.
Oh, don't start that all over again, don't you? You know, you really are quite insufferable when you're in one of your monosyllabic moods.
Hilda, ever since you took to writing secretively in that little book of yours, you've been using longer and longer words. What are you writing there, a dictionary?
No, I'm not, as you know full well, and I do not do it secretively.
Very well, if you prefer furtively.
I see nothing furtive about sitting at a gate-leg table jotting.
Nonsense, Hilda. Every time I come into the room, you flush, you look guilty, and you'll shove your little book under something. One of these days, you're going to forget where you shoved it.
That's very sneaky, that, now.
I know it is, just what I'm saying.
No, dear, I don't mean me. I mean you.
I don't jot, dear. Secretively, furtively, or in any other way. I do not jot. If I am going to write, I write.
Oh, don't think I don't know what you've done there. You've changed the subject, haven't you? Ah. Now, let's get back to Miss Blenkinsop, shall we?
It's not going to be easy, dear. She's been dead 6 months.
Well, that is precisely the point, dear. You see, her will has just been proved, and we, that is you and I, are the beneficiaries.
You mean she's actually left us money, Hilda?
Well, no, dear, not money.
Oh, wait a moment. Not that revoltingly self-satisfied blue Persian cat of hers. The one that used to sit in her gatepost and smirk.
Oh, no. No, not Mr. Lavender Trousers.
Then what?
She has left us her music emporium.
She's left that to us.
Yes, isn't it nice of her? You know, she really was a very nice little woman, despite what we used to say about her.
She was overbearing and self-opinionated.
Well, she had her little faults, of course.
I was never particularly struck.
Oh, well, no, I know that now. And I do appreciate why. It dates from that week she spent as guest music critic on the Stackton Bugle, doesn't it? I thought so. When she wrote of you, Dr. Evadne Hinge wields a baton as the rest of us might hold sticks of celery.
The woman was a fool.
Well, I never know why you took it so to heart, dear. I mean, she only meant that the baton looked as natural in your hand as a stick of celery might in anybody else's.
Yes.
It was a fact, I think.
If it was expressed with singular ineptitude, Hilda.
Still, she thought very highly of you, you know.
Did she now?
Oh, yes. Even though she didn't let on. I mean, in the will, dear. Now, just listen to this. Yes, there we are. They are two people of culture and refinement, and the only two to whom I would trust my treasures. And one of them is you, and the other one is me, of course. You see, Daphne, she really was a very nice woman deep down. Of course, the Emporium has been closed for absolute ages now. Could be such an asset to Stackton, you know, in the right hands.
You're not seriously considering reopening the place?
Well, I am, dear, yes. It's a condition of the bequest, you see, that it shall be reopened, retained in its present form, part shop, part museum, and that it shall be run in perpetuity by us and our heirs or successors.
I knew there'd be a catch. That woman's only saving grace was her crab-apple jelly. We shall just have to say no.
Oh, that will be most ungracious, Evadne, after all. The last wishes of the departed must surely be respected.
And what of the wishes of the living? Especially those sitting opposite you at this very moment, dear.
Oh, don't be hard on me, Evadne. You know I always respect your wishes.
Well, that's settled then. We're not having it.
Now, is that?
Hilda, think of the cost.
Oh, Miss Blenkinsop thought of that. There's a little endowment fund to cover the cost of running it, dear.
Then think of the time involved. We'd have to be there every day, 6 days a week.
Oh, I'm sure Maud will always help out.
Maud? In a music emporium? I'd think twice before I'd employ that woman in a breaker's yard. No, Hilda, no.
Well, let us at least go and have a little look at it.
It would serve no purpose.
Could do no harm. Just to go and have a little look at it with completely open minds, of course.
I'm not so sure.
Oh, go on, dear, just to please me.
Oh, very well, then.
Evadne, I can see by the look on your face that your mind is not open. You must try now.
Hilda, it is not my mind alone that is supposed to be open.
Mine is completely open.
Is it?
You'll see. I shall enter that emporium unclouded by prejudice, open to argument, willing to weigh the evidence and eager to examine the facts.
And determined to take it.
Well, it's better than being determined not to. At least I'm being constructive.
Now, Hilda...
Shh, that must be Maud. We don't want her to find us arguing, dear. It upsets her. Well, you know how she hates to think of you picking on me.
Good morning, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Hello, Maud.
Good morning, Maud.
I picked up your milk off the step, Dame Hilda.
Oh, thank you very much, dear.
I'll pop out in a minute and sweep up the broken glass.
Well, don't use a vacuum cleaner this time, Maud. It strips all the bristles off the brush.
Oh, and did you remember to bring that jar of honey from the shop, dear?
Oh, yes, I did, Dame Hilda. I'll sweep that up at the same time.
Well, that step sounds as if it's rather deep in broken glass this morning, Maud.
Yes, and flowing with milk and honey.
Well, I had a bit of trouble getting me key in that lock of yours. I think it's dropped again.
Onto the step, presumably.
I asked my Tom to come round and have a look at it. He can mend the fanlight while he's here.
The fanlight, dear. But there's nothing wrong with the fanlight.
There is now. You see, I was struggling to get me key in the lock and the fanlight over the door fell open and one hinge got broke. It's hanging half off. As a matter of fact, it was while I was trying to close it that the broom handle went through that little window in the door.
You see, Daphne, if we hadn't been arguing, we would have heard all this and we might have been able to salvage something.
One thing I don't quite understand, Maud. If you have the broom there, why didn't you sweep up the broken glass off the step straight away?
They don't make broom handles like they did. Still, no real harm done, eh? My Tom will soon have it all right.
It's a wonder your son finds time to do all the work you managed to get him, Maud.
He'll not expect no pain and doctor if that's what you're suggesting. Though I dare say Dame Hilda will see he's not out of pocket.
Yes, of course I will, Maud. Now, you, dear, you must surely remember the old music emporium in the High Street very well.
Well, that dirty old.
My sentiments exactly.
Mind, in the right hands, Dame Hilda, it could be lovely.
Precisely, now. As a matter of fact, we're going down there this morning to have a look round, aren't we, Daphne?
Yes, dear. Just to have a look round.
If you like, I'll ring up my Tom and get him to run you down the High Street.
That would be very nice, Maud, and we could pick up the key on the way.
He was under his new car with his father when I left him, but I expect they've got the bottom back in by now.
No. It's another new old car, is it, Maud?
No, it's not, Doctor. It's another old new one. But if it's not good enough...
No, Maud, no. The doctor and I will be delighted. And you know where the telephone is, dear.
Oh, I'll not be a minute,
You know, I've just had a thought, Evadne. Perhaps young Tom could unlock for us every morning and mind it for us when we're not there.
Open minds, eh, Hilda?
See, Evadne, you must face up to the possibility that we shall open that door, step over the threshold, take one look and say, this is us. Well, we might, dear. Might.
We might.
And so later that morning, Tom arrived to collect us, and Evadne and I rattled down the High Street. Well, when I say rattled, I don't mean we went particularly quickly. We just rattled. I think Tom's latest car was really a reject from a scrapyard. It was awfully sweet of him to take it off their hands, you know. But like so many people, he considered a thing a wreck only if it belonged to somebody else. As the Emporium did, for example.
God, is this it?
This is it, Tom, dear.
Blimey, Dave. The only thing keeping it up is the verdigris. And you've got dry rot in them window frames, and the brickwork needs repointing, preferably towards Mecca.
What, dear?
I mean, the place looks as if it needs praying for.
What are you smiling at, Evadne?
I'm not smiling.
You were.
I was not.
Well, if you weren't smiling, Evadne, you should go and see a specialist. You've developed a very nasty little twitch at the corners of your mouth.
Well, here goes. Stand back, ladies. The vibration might bring the old place down. Yeah. Blimey. I thought the place would have been empty. The old girl must have left all her stuff here. There's more white sheets here than a Ku Klux Klan convention.
And everyone hiding a treasure, I'll be bound. Well, it's not that dusty, Evadne. I've never known anyone who could make a sneeze sound so like criticism.
Then stop staring the dust, Hilda. Calm down. Move slowly. Lift corners and peep. Don't pull. You're behaving like a manic ward sister on bed linen day.
I say, just look at this lovely pile of old music. Oh, and the piano through there in the back. Take the dust sheet off it, Tom, dear, and let's try the acoustics.
Here, watch you don't fetch the ceiling down, dame.
Tom, dear, you're being a bit of a wet blanket. And you, Evadne, should have flu injections.
I did have flu injections, dear. I should have had them for silicosis.
Oh, don't be so silly. Now, why not try the piano, dear?
It could do.
Come on, it looks a beauty.
It looks all right.
Well, try it.
Very well.
Now, there, it's absolutely beautiful.
It's not bad.
Oh, it's wonderful, dear. Honestly, it is. You've never sounded better.
Hilda, you would like it if it sounded like a hurdy-gurdy played by a monkey.
Well, that's just where you're wrong, dear, because it doesn't. Not a bit. Now, let's try something from the pile here. Let's see, what have we got? Sign the pledge for mother's sake.
Sounds a bit dry.
What about I've got the Uperzutic? No, I don't think so. Or Ode to a Pansy.
Definitely not.
Oh, here we are, a May morning. Looks to have a lovely, happy feeling. We could breathe a bit of life back into the old place, albeit only briefly.
Don't try to play on my feelings, Hilda.
Oh, I'd never dream of trying to play on anything of yours, dear. You know that.
I say, Hilda, you know, the music for this song was written by Luigi Densa. Remember, he wrote that Funiculi Funicular.
Well, I don't think we should hold that against him, dear.
Come out and greet the sun. Come on, so we can free and brave. The merry day be done. Come out and bring the diamond dew. Come out and break the knee. The world is all awaiting you. And you are all world to me. Put on your gown of dainty white, put on your body blue, for I've been waiting all the night to greet the day with you. And every tree is white with corn, the bees light and gay. Come on, please happy born, and be your queen, and be your queen of May. For white rose sings on holy May, and I am singing too. For morning, early evening, late, my heart is all for you. My son shall blossom at your feet, my heart will not shall be. For you, a queen of May, and all the world to me. Come out, come on, come on.
You don't half know how to belt a song, Dame.
Thank you, Tom. I think that was a compliment.
Well, at least you've left the entire street in no doubt that you've just come out.
I'll say this for you, Doctor. You've got a light touch.
Oh.
You've not brought one single bit of plaster off the walls, and the ceiling's still up.
Don't say things like that, Tom. She's never happy unless she's brought the house down, now are you, dear?
Now, don't try to humour me, Hilda.
Evadne, you're in an impossible mood. I've taken you into Aladdin's cave, and you simply refuse to rub your lamp.
Now, Hilda, do be practical.
Well, if you'll excuse me, ladies, I'll go and poke about a little.
Do what?
See if I can get some idea of what you might need doing to the place.
Good idea, Tom. Sure it can't be very much.
Won't be long, ladies.
Well, Evadne,
Well, what, dear?
doesn't this place do something for you?
Yes, it makes me sneeze.
No, now do stop it, dear. You'll rupture a blood vessel in your nose and people will think you've taken to drink. Now, look. Evadne, listen to that.
To what, dear?
That tinkling. It's Miss Blenkinsop's little tinkle. We always used to hear it in our sitting room, remember?
It's a wind chime, Hilda. She has them everywhere.
Well, I know that, dear, but it's very funny the way that one in her sitting room always tinkled when Miss Blenkinsop was displeased, even when there wasn't any wind. I think Miss Blenkinsop is making her presence felt here, willing us to save her emporium. Listen, she's tinkling again.
Yes, I don't think she would be, Hilda, though, if you weren't waving your score of the dancing years in front of her child.
I haven't waved anything, dear. Miss Blenkinsop was tinkling all on her own. She's a very determined woman. Well, she was. And I'd not like to upset her, even in death. No, dear, no. There's definitely a presence. There it goes again, you see. And I was nowhere near it that time.
Hello!
Well, I don't care what you say, Hilda. That is not Miss Blenkinsop. She was a bass.
No, dear, it's Major Durham. How nice to see you, Major.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. And what brings you this way, Major?
I've been out buying baubles for Lorna. It's her birthday next week, you see. And we've got the decorators in.
Well, that doesn't sound much of a treat, dear.
Pure unfortunate coincidence, that, I'm afraid. Usual thing. Come for a week, stay for a month. And we'd have to redo it all as soon as they've gone.
It's a difficult time, one of life's great trials.
Well, they've got such definite ideas these days, don't you find? I mean, you just take the drawing room. Now, Lorna and I wanted duck egg blue and white and a rather nice Regency stripe. Could we get it? Not on your life. Know what we got? Avocado and bamboo. Wild wallpaper that makes it look like a dugout in the Burma campaign. All vivid green fronds and big exotic birds. And a mess. We were going to put dust sheets down, of course. But he said, we won't need dust sheets. We won't make a mess. As a matter of fact, I've just ordered new carpets. I was passing and glimpsed you through the muck on that window. Now, what brings you two here?
Well, now, Major, you're a sensible man.
Evadne, let me tell the Major. After all, the solicitor's letter was addressed to me.
Very well, just as you wish, Hilda. But please remember, dear, I am listening.
You see, Major, in a nutshell, Evadne and I have been bequeathed the Emporium on condition that we reopen it and run it as a shop-cum-museum. But Evadne's worried about responsibility and the work involved, aren't you, dear?
Among other things.
Yes. Well, you just keep your other things to yourself for the time being.
Oh, I see. So you want me to make the judgment of Solomon, is that it?
Well, sort of.
I wish I hadn't come in. The point is it worthwhile preserving? I mean, is there much interesting stuff here?
Well, Major, just take a look round you. I mean, so many lovely things. We've got gramophones, musical instruments, and the entire ring cycle on 78.
Which would certainly present a challenge to a shoplifter.
All these pictures of so many wonderful people. And look here. You see this square of velvet cut from the house tabs at the old Metropolitan Opera House in New York.
Presumably by some opera-loving vandal.
Evadne, you really must give me a chance. Now, come here and sit on this chair.
Why? What have you done to it?
Just sit on it. There. Now, read the label, Major.
On this wicker chair, Madame Kirsten Faggot once sat while trying to get her breath back as Brunhilde.
There you are. Now in touch with a great moment of musical history.
And I've got to the bottom of Brunhilde at last, eh, Hilda?
You see, this place really does have the most wonderful atmosphere. I mean, even Evadne's beginning to enjoy herself, aren't you, dear?
Good heavens, what's that? A clog-dancing poltergeist?
It'll be Tom testing the floor above. He's checking the place structurally. That's Maud's son, Major.
Well, let's hope he can stand up to it.
Oh, he's all right. She's the demolition expert.
I say, Evadne, just look.
What, dear?
Over here. Just look what I found.
A harp.
I would have thought Miss Blenkinsop would have had more use for that than you two. Why she didn't take it with her?
Evadne, this is not just any harp. Look at the initials. M.D.
Yes?
Oh, don't be so obtuse. A harp bearing the initials M.D. What could they possibly stand for?
Musical director.
No, dear.
The Merthyr Tydfil Dairy Company. Well, their emblem is probably a harp.
Oh, no, I don't think so, dear. Now, I'm sure it would be a hazard on top of a milk float. No. There is only one possibility. Mary Dale.
Mary Dale? Is that anywhere near Darley Dale?
No, Major. Mrs. Dale's diary, remember? I'm very worried about Jim. Oh, damn, I've broken my nail.
You should drink more milk, Hilda. You've obviously got a calcium deficiency, dear. Quite apart from anything else.
To think that twice a day, every day for all those years, that wonderful Mrs. Dale sat in front of this very instrument poised to glitz.
I do think you are jumping to conclusions here. For one thing, we don't know it was Mrs. Dale.
Oh, but we do, dear. You see, because the label clearly says so. Ex-BBC sold at a charity auction.
Well, even if it were, Mrs. Dale would never have played the music live. It would have been pre-recorded.
Oh, stuff and nonsense, Evadne. Of course it was live. You could definitely hear her breathing. Oh, Tom, dear, you're back. What's the rest of the place look like, then?
No problems, ladies. Not bad at all. I could easily do the work myself, dame. And I think I know where I can lay my hands on most of the materials. It's a chap building a new house for himself on the corner by the garage. Now, if I play my cards right, I should be able to get a bit of cement off him. Should be able to get a bit of plaster off him and all. And when he gets to putting in his windows, well, I should be able to get a bit of glass. Now, what else? Oh, yeah. I'll definitely be able to get some bricks off him.
Did you say he was building a house, Tom?
Yes, Doctor.
It rather sounds as though he's going to have to live in a bungalow.
Well, Evadne, what are we going to do, then, about Miss Blenkinsop's bequest?
Well, I must admit, Hilda, dear, it's Really rather exciting, isn't it?
And Tom will help, and the Major will help.
You can certainly rely on us.
You bet.
Then you seem rather successfully to have routed the opposition, don't you, Hilda?
Then you agree we shall accept it, and we shall reopen it.
Yes, dear. I agree.
There, Evadne, listen. Miss Blenkinsop's tinkling again. You see, you've just made her very happy.
I thought she tinkled when she was displeased, Hilda.
Well, she does, dear, yes, but in quite a different way. So that's settled then. We can all go home.
Hilda, what are you doing with that harp?
Taking it with me, dear.
What?
I daren't leave it here. Somebody might buy it.
Ah, Maud.
I didn't as much as touch that window, Doctor. It fell out on its own.
Don't worry, Maud, dear. Tom knows where to get a new window frame, I'm sure.
You know, Tom, it rather sounds as if that friend of yours is going to have to make do with a very dark bungalow.
The random jottings of Hinge and Bracket with Dr. Evadne Hinge and Dame Hilda Bracket. With friends and neighbours at Stackton Trestle, Daphne Hurd, David Griffin and Anthony Sharp. The Stackton Faggot.
The seasons come and go in Stackton Trestle, much as they do in any English village. Autumn comes and brings the harvest festival and all that nastiness over who's got the biggest cucumber. Winter brings the Christmas festivities with its gay carolers, the panto in the co-op hall, and all that bickering about who's going to decorate the church. Spring brings mummers to the village green and an Easter passion play, larded with rather coarse gestures that were apparently in everyday use here in the Middle Ages, and which appears still to be perfectly understood by a surprisingly large proportion of the local population. And then comes summer with its fetes and garden parties, and that much looked forward to opportunity to pay 10 pence to throw wet sponges at the vicar. It's the only truly successful method he's yet devised for raising money for the church. But in between times, too, we have our little excitements. We had one a week or so ago. It all began a day or two after we had inherited the music emporium. It was a Thursday morning. Evadne was out at a council meeting, and Major Dillenforth arrived seeking our help.
You see, Dame Hilda, we've got a bit of a problem with the old cricket pavilion.
Yes, so I'd heard, Major. But surely all you need do is hang a curtain over the shower room window and remove the orange box that the girls stand on.
No, we've solved that one. We're letting the nettles grow back. No matter what the cost in balls. Nonetheless, we've another bigger problem.
Oh, I am sorry, and what might that be?
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, the whole place is falling down.
Well, it's hardly surprising, really, I suppose. It is almost 100 years old, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. It seems we shall need something of the order of £1,500 to restore the place to its former glory.
Really?
So we thought we should hold an event of some kind, something special, something different.
Yes.
On the green.
Yes.
To raise whatever we can.
Yes.
And it was suggested that I approach you, dear ladies, for ideas. You have acquired a certain reputation, you see.
Oh, Major. I do hope not. The front door. That'll be Evadne now. Evadne!
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Mind you don't bump into Mrs. Dale's Harp, dear. Because you can't tell her, you know.
Hilda, you really are going to have to move that harp out of the hall. It's terribly in the way out there.
But I like to run my fingers over it as I come down the stairs, dear.
Well, I am sick and tired of running my shins over it every time I try to get to the hall stand.
Oh, don't keep harping on it. Harping. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good morning, Major. Sorry, didn't see you.
Good morning.
Evadne, we're trying to think of something unusual that the Major could do on the village green to make money.
How very bizarre of you.
No, dear. He needs money for his pavilion. It's falling down.
I'm looking for an unusual fundraising event, you see, to take place on the green.
And now there's a coincidence. You know, while I was at the council meeting this morning, I was looking at that old faggot at the town hall.
Oh, and how is the Lady Mayoress?
Preposterous. Do you know what she wore to the meeting today? An organdy skirt, a striped blazer, and a yachting cap. She looks like an ocean-going fairy.
Poor dear, she's such a clever woman, but she simply cannot wear clothes. You know, she's the only person I know who can put on a beaver hat and actually look like a beaver.
That's her teeth, dear. Log-tearing teeth, if ever I saw them.
Oh, whatever will the Major think of us, tearing the poor woman to pieces like this?
No, it's most interesting, really. Lorna can't abide her. Not a woman's woman, I suppose. But, you know, I must confess, I've always thought she was rather attractive.
Oh, well, Major, chacun a son goût.
Right. But I've never been especially drawn to beavers. So I must admit, I was very smitten with a toothy girl at Oxford. She used to walk around with her nose in evening war.
That can't have done her teeth much good.
Nor any other part of her, dear, come to mind.
Good heavens, at the time. I really must be going, or I shall never get my gherkins. I was looking for a wild duck, but I couldn't find one.
No, they keep themselves very much to themselves.
I think it's the time of year, Hilda.
Well, if you have an inspiration, give me a tinkle. No, don't get up, Dame Hilda. I can see myself out. Goodbye, ladies.
Bye-bye, dear.
Goodbye, Major Devonport.
Poor Major. Lorna's always sending him out for gherkins. What does she do with them all, I wonder?
You know her, Hilda. She's a culinary titivator. All gherkins, fans, and radish roses, never enough to eat.
You know, we really must try and think of something for the Major, Evadne. We've got a bit of a reputation, you know.
I'm not surprised the way you flutter your eyes with that in there. Anyway, I've already had an idea.
You have? Well, why didn't you say so before I left?
Well, I was trying to, dear, when you interrupted me to be so very rude about the Lady Mayoress.
I was not the only one being rude about the Lady Mayoress. You were far ruder than I was. Yes, I was only rude about her beaver's hat. You were rude about her beaver's teeth. And whatever we may think of her, she can't help her teeth. After all, nature gave them to her. Mind you, nature can be terribly unfair at times.
Hilda, can we leave the Lady Mayoress alone?
Believe me, dear, there's nothing I'd like better.
Right, now, the faggot I was referring to was the Stackton Faggot. You know, that one in the glass case at the top of the main staircase.
Oh, that faggot. Oh, yes, that old bit of charred wood. Isn't somebody supposed to have snatched that from the bonfire when they burned the Stackton witches in 1600 and something?
1645, dear. Matthew Hopkins, the witch-finder general, flushed out 6 witches and a wizard, and they burned them on the green. I was thinking, you know, it might be interesting to reenact it. So why not do it in aid of the cricket pavilion?
Wouldn't that be a little macabre?
Really?
It doesn't really have much to do with cricket, dear. I mean, witch burning wasn't a sport, was it? Well, not in our sense of the word.
No, it's part of Stackton's history, Hilda. Do you know they were burned on the very spot where the cricket pavilion now stands? Or should one say falls?
You know, some of Maud's people were burned at the stake.
Yes, but not nearly enough of them.
Well, you must have heard her tell of her ancestor, Goody Bullet. She was burned.
Perhaps you could burn Maud.
I don't know why, Daphne, but you always come back from your council meetings red in tooth and claw.
Well, anyway, I think it's the most exciting idea. It could be like the finale of Götterdämmerung without any interference from the fire officer. Imagine, real flames.
Yes, I suppose it could be quite nice. But, of course, its success would depend to a very large extent on who you got to play your principal witch?
I see a towering bonfire.
Oh, I mean, who would play your principal
No,
witch?
there'd be no principal witch, Hilda. No, all the witches would be equal. Being burned at the stake was a great leveller, you know. What I see is a towering bonfire about to be lit. I see the village green thronged with peasants.
Peasants, dear?
Yes, everyone will come as peasants, Hilda. It's so much cheaper. I think it means they can all dress in Hessian, and surely everyone must be able to rustle up a pair of sandals and a length of rope.
Evadne, they burned them, dear. They didn't hang them.
To tie round their waists, Hilda, to hang their belongings on. Oh, yes, I definitely see everyone in Hessian.
Even the witches, dear?
Well, of course, the witches were simple country folk.
Well, I'm not going as a peasant, and that's flat.
Hilda, I see this as a sort of Ingmar Bergman epic.
Well, I don't, dear. Now, I see it as a sort of Gaiety theatre burlesque.
Please yourself. If you want to look utterly ridiculous, I don't mind. Who ever heard of anyone being burned at the stake in a picture hat, pearls, and a flowered frock?
Quite honestly, Daphne, I do think that on these occasions one should be prepared to sacrifice a degree of historical similitude for a bit of glamour and fun. People want to dress up, dear, not down. No, it's so silly. And what's more, it's silly in the wrong way. I mean, no one minds being silly. Oh, now, what's that song, Evadne?
Which song?
I'm such a silly when the moon comes. You know, that's the sort of feeling. Ah, Miss Gibbs, yes. Now, where is it? Now, I'm sure it's here somewhere. We could sing it on the night, dear.
It's hardly appropriate to being burned at the stake, Hilda, is it?
Well, it doesn't matter, Evadne. It's glamorous and it's fun. Oh, here it is. Now, do take that look off your face, dear, and come over to the piano. I'm sure we'll all enjoy the evening so much better if it's letting more Bergman and more Gertie Miller. I bet when they burn real witches, they all had a lovely time. Well, come on, dear, play. Do see if you can manage a smile, Daphne. Mischief-making moon, what are you doing there? You seem like a fairy dream up in the midnight air. When I look at you, I always know you will trap me with your silver bow. But as soon as the sun's in bed, when it's in, I get a funny sort of feeling in my head. I'm such a silly when the moon comes out. I hardly seem to know what I'm about. Skipping, hopping, never stopping. I can't keep still although I try. I know the whistle when the moon seems gone. That is the moment when I long to dance. I can never close a sleepy eye when the moon comes creeping up the sky. Moon, aggravating moon, why do you treat me so? I think you're inclined to wink. That isn't right, you know. Every day I'll be as good as gold, doing everything that I've been told. But as soon as the sun's in bed, when it's dead, I get this funny sort of feeling in my head. I'm such a silly when the moon comes on. I hardly seem to know what I'm about. Skipping, hopping, never stopping. I can't keep still although I try. I'm all the quicker when the moon is gone. That is the moment when I long to dance. I can never close a sleepy eye when the moon comes creeping up the sky. I'm such a silly when the moon comes on. Oh, I hardly think know what I'm about. Skipping, hopping, never stopping. I can't keep still although I try. I'm on the whistle when the moon is gone. That is the moment when I long to dance. I can never close a sleepy eye when the moon comes creeping up the sky. Ah, Maud, so there you are.
Oh, Dame Hilda, I'm so sorry about the coffee.
But we haven't had any coffee, Maud.
Well, that's what I'm sorry about. You see, I plugged in the percolator into the cooker switch as usual, and it broke.
What the switch did, Maud?
Yes, the switch did, Doctor. Then the percolator did.
How did it do that, dear?
Well, I tripped over the flex and it fell off the table.
Maud, that flex is terribly short. I failed to see how it could get on the floor for you to trip over.
It didn't get on the floor, Doctor. I got on the table.
Well, don't worry, Maud. We'll have a cup of tea later.
That's just what I thought, Dame Hilda. I'm popping out now to buy a new pot. See, that was on the table and all. And my foot caught it.
Maud, why were you standing on the table in the first place?
Well, I was trying to mend the light, that's why.
You should have got the step ladder, dear.
I had the step ladder. That's how the light got broken. And it's the panel in the larder door. Great heavy things. You can't swing them without hitting something. When I stepped on the steps to get at the light, the steps broke. So I stepped on the table and stopped there.
And the rest we know.
Well, at least, Evadne, the table's all right.
Now, I've got a confession to make.
Maud, how is it that the only thing in this entire house that appears to be safe from you is that Harp that's stuck right in the middle of the hall?
But that's not in anybody's way, is it?
Thank you, Maud, dear. Now, Maud, while you're here, it rather looks as if the doctor and I have let ourselves in for a little organising, at a bit of a do on the village green. And we shall need catering.
Well, Dame Hilda, of course. You know I'd be only too pleased.
I was wondering about that woman who does it now up in the village hall, Hilda.
Oh, do you mean Mrs Mellinger, then?
Is that her name? I don't know. The tall, trim, red-headed woman with trouser suits and a Jackson. She always looks so competent. Sensible shoes and all that.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Mellinger. Lives in Holly Tree Cottage now. Oh, dear. Now, you've been to some of those village hall do's of Mrs. Mellinger's, haven't you? What's she like?
Well, she's all very well in her way, I suppose. But she's a little bit fancy-like.
Gives you knives and forks, I suppose.
Well, of course she does, Doctor. She's scored in blue. Does everything very posh. Low lights and all. At the Halloween supper, the lights was lower than we had them in the war. We could hardly see to put our candles in our turnips. Mind, it looked lovely. What you could see of it. Everything was green. Green tablecloths, green serviettes, green crockery. Poor Mrs. Parsons spent half the evening ferreting about on the table trying to find her peas.
Her eyes aren't what they were, the lad.
And they were never up to much.
You know, Dame Hilda, we had salad with hot. Old Mr. Nichols said he wished he'd took his rabbit.
Well, it would probably have been better company for him than his wife.
By the by, Maud, is it true that she makes that poor man drink his homemade beer in the garage?
She makes him do absolutely everything in the garage.
How terribly inconvenient.
Now, what are we going to do about the catering there? Are we having this woman or are we not?
Well, I think perhaps we ought to give her a try, Evadne, don't you? After all, the low lights won't bother us. We'll have the bonfire.
Yes, and apparently she has a way with the butcher, which means she can get the meat cheap.
It's been said she has a good deal more than a way with him. Top side at 70p. And all the brisket she can carry. Disgusting.
I've never heard that.
You don't hear everything, Hilda.
Is this due for Guy Fawkes night?
No, Maud, it's not.
Of course, if it's a secret, Doctor.
It's not a secret, Maud. It's a pageant.
How would you like to play a witch?
Which, and that what?
Not as anything, dear. You'd be dressed as a peasant and taken to the village green on a muck cart.
A tumbril, Hilda.
Well, whatever we can get. And you'd then be tied to a stake in front of the bonfire and sort of burnt. Just like Goody Bullet.
Well, it don't sound like much of a night out.
Precisely.
Anyway, seeing as that I had a real witch for an ancestor, when most people round here can't even claim a nodding acquaintance with a gnome, I think I should be permitted to do something a little more important than just be burned at the stake.
Well, what had you in mind, dear?
I'd like to light the bonfire.
Very well, if that's what you want.
Maud with matches? I don't like it, Hilda.
Well, she can hardly do any harm, dear. After all, we want it to go up in flames. And so, Evadne, with that ruthless determination that has always given her such a rapport with Wagner, set about organising her witch's pageant. I just sat silently back and watched her, happy in the knowledge that sooner or later she'd come unstuck. Sure enough, she did. Well, I mean, nobody wanted to spend an entire evening dressed in Hessian, not even on the promise of being burned at the stake and as much black-toad venom punch as they could drink, so we compromised. We settled for just a jolly night on the green with a bonfire, food and drink. Well, the night turned out to be beautiful and warm, and just as I'd expected it would be.
There's Tom. Tom, dear, over here.
Evening, Doc. Evening, Dame.
Hello, Tom.
I must say, Tom, you've done a magnificent job with the bonfire. It'll look absolutely lovely when it's lit.
Well, it's all right now, Doc. But getting it together has been a bit, on and off.
On and off, Tom.
Yeah, Dame. For everybody who put something on, there was somebody who took something off.
Really? But it's just a load of old wood and combustible junk there.
Nevertheless, you chuck something out, and the doctor wants it. She chucks something out, you want it. Very human nature, isn't it?
I've never wanted anything she's chucked out, Tom. Tell me, Tom, dear, have you any idea how that woman from the village hall is coping in the refreshment marquee?
Well, she was in a bit of a flat, Dame. It seems the butcher didn't quite come up to expectations.
Really?
Well, it's a lot smaller than she thought.
What do you mean, Tom?
Well, the ox. For the ox roast.
Yeah.
Well, it don't look like an ox, you see. Too small. She's been sold a pup, if you ask me. The Major's wife's been dragged into help.
Oh, how splendid.
Well, I'm not so sure. All she's done so far is make 150 cucumber crocodiles.
Yeah, it's amazing what that woman can do with a cucumber.
I say, Tom, there's a gang of village brats poking around with your bonfire there.
They're not brats, Evadne. They're village children, and they've come to join in the communal fun.
Nonsense, Hilda. They're brats, and they're poking about with his bonfire. Go and chase them off, Tom, will you?
Hey, you lot! Get out of it! You just wait till I get my hands on you.
Makes a good host, doesn't it? Oh, there's Maud by the bonfire now, dear. Let's go across.
Good God, what does she look like? She shouldn't dress like that, especially for lighting a bonfire. Someone might pick her up and chuck her on it.
Hello, Maud.
Oh, good evening, Dame Hilda. Doctor, I say, that hot punch is ever so nice. You can feel it going down, and you don't half make your toes tingle.
Yes, Maud, but I think you're supposed to use one of those little glasses over there for it, dear. The pint tankards are for the big...
I paid me money, Dame Hilda, and I took me choice. Now, when do I do it?
Not yet, Maud. No, we'll tell you.
Are you sure I'd be able to light that great big bonfire with one of these little matches?
Oh, no, you'll have a flaming brand, dear.
And why am I walking around holding these flaming matches?
You'll need those, Maud, to light the flaming brand.
Sounds if I'm going to have a right flaming evening.
There you are, ladies. I think we're ready for the off, aren't we?
Well, let's get it over with.
Go on then, Mark. Lighten up time. It's your big moment. You know she's never lit anything bigger than a Christmas pudding till now.
And now my knees is tingling too.
That'll be the pints of punch, dear.
It seems such a shame to set fire to that lovely pile after so much work's gone into it.
All in a good cause, Maud. Right, everybody, gather round. The bonfire's about to be lit. Now, Tom, hold the flambeau so that your mother can light it.
Stand back, Hilda. We don't want you hurt, do we?
It can't explode or anything, can it?
No. Paraffin soaked rag on a pole, that's all. Harmless in the right hands. Now, Maud, the matches.
Well, here goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Maud Fripp will now light our celebratory bonfire.
But what do I do?
Throw it, Maud. No, not at that. At the bloody bonfire.
Hold her, Major. Aim her. You were a gunner, weren't you?
Right, dear. Now, when I say throw, throw. Throw!
All right, Evadne. You can open your eyes now. There, she's done it.
Oh, I say. Isn't it beautiful, Hilda? I say, Hilda,
What, dear?
isn't that flame on the corner of the cricket pavilion roof?
Oh, dear. Oh, Major, look, the pavilion roof. Look, dear.
Good God.
It's all right. They should be able to see us from the fire station. Hey! Fire! Fire!
No good, Tom. They're all at the window waving. Thinking you're showing off the bonfire. You better run across.
Right, Major. Fire! Fire! Fire!
I say, Dame Hilda,
What, Maud, dear?
did I do that all right?
Hilda, I was right in the first place. We should have burned her.
Random Jottings of Hinge and Bracket with Dr. Evadne Hinge and Dame Hilda Bracket. With friends and neighbours at Stackton Tressel, Daphne Heard and David Griffin in The Dropouts.
Many people seem to think that because Evadne and I live in a small country place like Stackton Tressel, we are able to pursue our interests free from distraction and interruption. But alas, this is not so. It really is surprising how many times a day we're disturbed by people hammering on the front door. Starts with the postman. You know, he knocks every morning to tell us that he's got his knuckles caught in the letterbox. Then the other morning there was a young man knocked just to tell us that the world was going to end on Thursday. And I said to Evadne, well, if it's got to happen, it may as well be on a Thursday, you know. Half-day closing anyway. And he'd no sooner gone than a man from the water board arrived looking for a leak. And you could tell by his expression that he thought we had one and weren't letting on. He got terribly angry because Evadne... she'd let her creeping Jenny creep all over the storm drain. And our stopcock, well, I mean, it wasn't where he thought it should have been. And so it goes on. But a week or two ago, we had a very distracting distraction. It all began about 11 o'clock in the morning. It was on the Wednesday, while Evadne was in the drawing room running over one of our favourite pieces, you see.
On a tree by a river, a little tomtit sang willoo, tit-willoo, tit-willoo. And I said to him, sticky bird, why do you keep singing willoo, tit-willoo, tit-willoo?
Evadne, is that you you making that extraordinary noise? And I'm not being funny about your singing, dear.
It's not me, Hilda. It's that pigeon sitting outside there on the windowsill.
Pigeon? Oh, I see. Oh, well, I never. Hello, Birdie.
Oh, don't you start. Fair enough having to stop with the pigeon.
Oh, it's a lovely birdie, Daphne.
It's a very rude bird, Hilda.
Well, pigeons do tend to be a bit on the rude side now. That's why they're so unpopular with local councils.
Every time I start to play, that thing taps the glass with its beak and coos.
It's what they call getting the bird, dear.
I must say, I was rather hoping it would have gone before you got going on the bird jokes.
You mustn't let it ruffle your feathers, dear.
Just get rid of it, will you, Hilda?
What do you want me to do now? Shoot it?
Just shoo it away.
Very well, if that's what you want. Shoo, shoo. Go on, you silly bird. Fly off. No, it's no good, Evadne. It's just sitting staring at me through the glass as if I'm stark raving mad.
It's hardly surprising, dear. That is rather the impression you're giving. You must be more aggressive, Hilda. Frighten it.
Evadne, I am not in the habit of frightening birds. I have a bird bath on the lawn and half a coconut hanging from the rose arch for my tits. I suppose I could try holding one of the cats up to the window.
Which one, dear? The short-sighted one? The very idle one? Or the one that's frightened of feathers? No, just open the window, dear, and it'll fly away.
Oh, very well. No one shall say that I haven't done my best to humour you. There, it's open.
Well, has it done the trick?
It has. It's done it all right. It's walked straight in.
Quick, dear, quick. Pick it up and throw it out again.
Do lower your voice, Evadne. Suppose someone from the RSPCA were to hear you.
They can fly, you know, Hilda.
Do you know, dear, the way this bird's looking at you, I think it knows you.
Oh, don't be so utterly ridiculous.
It's not so ridiculous, dear. It's probably seen you going in and out of the town hall while it's been sitting up there on the roof. They're not stupid, you know. People use them for carrying messages. They must be able to remember things.
I think you'll find the idea is to tie the messages to their legs, Hilda. They don't actually memorize.
No, but they have to remember where they're going with them, don't they? I mean, it wouldn't be any good sending a message that didn't get where it was going. You could rely on the post office for that. Look at him sitting on that bust of Bizet. He's treating it like a pull-up for Carmen.
He's not, dear.
Never mind. He looks a bit sleepy, you know. I think he's dozing off. He's probably exhausted himself. He's not had a morning like this before, you know, have you? You've not had a morning like this before, have you? Everybody waving and shouting at you.
Hilda, I think I could possibly put up with the pigeon. But I really am not going to be able to cope with you going on like that.
Well, I was only being sociable, dear. Birdie talk. I tell you what. Let's sing the Titwillow song all the way through for him and see what he does.
Don't you think that would be tempting Providence, Hilda?
Would you like to hear Auntie Evadne sing a little?
All right, Hilda, dear, all right. Stop that and we'll do the song instead.
On a tree by a river, a little tomtit sang willow, tit willow. And I said to him, cheeky bird, why do you sit singing willow, tit willow? Is it weakness of intellect, birdie, I cried, or a rather tough worm in your little inside? With a shake of his poor little head, he replied, oh, willow, tit willow. He slept at his chest as he sat on that bough, singing willow, tit willow. And a cool perspiration bespangled his brow, oh, willow, tit willow. He sobbed and he sighed, and the gurgle he gave as he tossed himself into a billowy wave, and an echo arose from the suicide grave. Oh, willow, it willow, it willow. Now I feel just as sure as I'm sure that my name isn't Willow, tit willow, tit willow. That was blinded affection that made him exclaim, oh, willow, tit willow, tit willow. So if you remain careless and obdurate, I may well do as he did, and you will know why. I probably shall not exclaim as I die. Oh, willow, it willow, it willow. Well, what do you know, Evadne? That burst dropped right off.
I'm glad. I think I like it better asleep.
Oh, that sounds like Maud. Oh, and I see she's got Tom with her. How nice.
I wish I'd never come with him.
I wish you'd never come with me at all.
Yes, sounds like they're really enjoying each other's company.
Good morning, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Morning, ladies.
Morning, Maud. Hello, Tom, dear.
Good morning.
I say, what's that you've got in your hand, Maud?
It's a bone of contention.
It's the door handle off my car.
It fell off, and I caught it.
How very adroit of you, Maud.
Well, go on, Ma. Tell them the rest.
Now, I thought it couldn't be as simple as all that.
You see, I put my hand on the handle to open the door, and the handle came off and the door fell out. And I hung on to the handle.
That sounds like great presence of mind, sir.
He blames me. But we all know British workmanship. The bottom should never have fell out like that.
It wouldn't have done if you'd not been jumping about where you shouldn't have been.
And where was I supposed to be then, once that seat had broke?
The seat wouldn't have broke if you'd not thrown yourself back on it so sudden.
I didn't throw myself back on it. I got thrown when he did the fence. And you can't blame me for that, my lad, because you had an hand on the steering wheel as well as me.
So you hit the fence, did you? Well, lucky you weren't hurt. And I do hope the people weren't too angry about it.
Well, as I said to Tom, I said, it's a blessing as it happened where it did, Dame Hilda.
Oh, yes? And where exactly did it happen, Maud?
You've no call to look at me like that, Doctor. It happened at home.
Well, you hadn't got very far then, had you?
About 50 yards, when she suddenly threw it into reverse. God knows how she did it. I was supposed to be driving.
Well, there's nowhere for a proper-sized person to put themselves these days.
And you've still got the door handle in your hand there after all that.
You know, it's funny the things we hangs on to in times of crisis.
Yeah.
like old Mr. Glanville, when he were bombed in the war. When they dug him out of the rubble after 11 hours, he still had his rhubarb in his hand.
Oh, Mr. Glanville, the school caretaker. I didn't know he'd been bombed. I thought he always looked like that.
They were in Dulwich during the doodle bugging, and just got in off his allotment one dinner time when Hitler struck. Yet he never let go his rhubarb.
Well, I suppose we've all got to have something to hang on to.
What an extraordinary morning you've had.
Well, I felt such a fool sitting on the bus with his handle in my hand. The conductor said to me, it must have been a nasty accident if that's all you got left of the car. No real harm done, eh?
Except to poor Dad.
Oh, your father was in the car with you, was he?
No, Arthur was right behind the fence when we hit him.
Your father's all right, I hope, Tom.
Well, he's not hurt, Doctor, but he's covered in creosote.
Typical of that man. I've been trying to get him to do that fence for 2.5 years, and he had to choose the very morning we back into it.
Well, I expect you're a bit shaken, Maud, dear. Now, why don't you sit down for a minute or two, and I'll make us all a nice cup of tea.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Dame Hilda, but I'll not give no one the opportunity to say I neglected me duties. I'll make us all a nice cup of tea.
Well, just as you wish, dear.
Oh, I'm afraid Ma's rather upset my plans for this morning. You see, I was going to suggest that I run you two ladies down to the Music Emporium. All the building work's done there now, and we need a few decisions about the decorating.
Oh, good, Tom. Now, I've got 1 or 2 ideas about that.
And I've got 1 or 2 ideas about it as well, Evadne.
Then we shall have to talk about it, won't we now?
Yes, we will. I do think the decor is most terribly important.
I quite agree with you, Dan.
I mean, it's terribly important that it's right.
I couldn't agree more, Hilda.
I mean, really right.
I know exactly what you mean, Hilda. You mean the way you want it.
You must admit, dear, that is usually right.
That is a matter of opinion.
Well, not really, dear. It's a matter of natural good taste and a certain flair. But I don't want to argue about it now, not in front of Tom.
Oh, don't mind me, ladies. Here. Here. Did that thing sitting on that bust over there just move?
No, dear, didn't. I wasn't really looking, to tell you the truth.
What is it?
One surely doesn't need to be an ornithologist, Tom, to recognize that as a pigeon.
Is it alive?
If it were dead, dear, it would have rolled over by now and fallen off.
No, I mean, I saw it when I first come in, but I thought it must have been stuffed.
Evadne wishes it was, doesn't she?
Well, what's it doing in here?
She wishes she knew that as well, doesn't she?
It came down in the garden, Tom, and Hilda had to let the blessed thing in.
Well, it's got a ring on, you know.
Wedding or engagement, dear.
She's been like this all morning, bird-brained.
Oh, I know perfectly well what a ring is, Evadne. Of course I do.
No, that's a racing bird. It'll have got lost or tired. Something like that.
There you are, Evadne. Poor, lost, tired little bird. And you wanted me to throw it out of the window, you brute.
I'll get its number off that ring and we can find out who it belongs to.
Mind the harp, Tom.
Sorry.
It's all right, Tom. We all do it, dear. Even Hilda, though she flatly refuses to admit it.
Evadne, I have never once bumped into that harp since it's been in this room. And even if I had, it would be your fault. Because you made me bring it in here out of the hall, and I never bumped into it when it was in the hall.
That thing is in the way in here.
You said it was in the way out there.
It was in the way out there. It is also in the way in here.
Then where can I put it where it won't be in the way?
I've told you, at the Emporium.
But I don't want it at the Emporium, Evadne. I want it here.
Then put it in your bedroom, dear.
In my bedroom? Oh, don't be so unreasonable. It would be in the way in there. You just listen, dear, and I'm beginning to master it. Oh, blast. I've broken another fingernail.
Now, look what you've done. You've woken that thing up as well.
That wasn't me that woke him there. That was Tom taking his number.
Probably thought I was a traffic warden.
Have you got it all right now?
Yep. Now, if I can use your phone, I'll go and ring... No pun intended.
None taken.
The Royal Pigeon Racing Association for you.
Royal, dear?
Oh, it is now, yes.
I didn't know the Queen went in for that sort of thing. Did you, Daphne?
No, it won't be her, dear, no. If it's any of them, it'll be the Queen Mother.
Well, I'll give them this number.
What, our phone number now?
No, the pigeon's number, dame.
Leave it to Tom, dear. He knows what he's doing.
Then they'll give me the address of the owner, and we can tell him it's here. See? Won't be a tick.
I say, aren't we having a lovely morning, Evadne? So much is happening.
Yes, dear, isn't it? And all we'd planned was a nice uninterrupted few hours at the piano.
Oh, Maud, tea.
Coffee, Dame Hilda. A nice cup of coffee.
I thought it was tea we were going to have, Maud.
It may have been tea we was going to have, Doctor, but it's coffee we got.
Don't we have any tea left then, Maud?
Well, we do, Dame Hilda, but last time I sweat it up and put it back, you complained about the flowers.
Tom Coffee's fine, Maud. Coffee is fine.
And you don't have to hide that bird from me, neither. Tom's told me all about that.
Oh, we weren't hiding it, Maud, there. It was sitting on Bise there, fast asleep, in full view of everybody.
Well, I'm not cleaning up after it, and you needn't think I am. I've never been that fond of pigeons. Not since Arthur used to keep them and they ate my hat.
Your hat, dear.
A lovely straw I had for a wedding one time, all covered in little red berries, it were. And two of his tumblers took 'em for their tea.
His tumblers, dear, sounds very acrobatic.
We had all sorts. Tumblers, pouters, and a ruddy blue checker white flicked cock. Nasty birds with nasty names and nasty natures. And nobody but Arthur would have had the gall to like 'em. I'm surprised at you, Dame Hilda, allowing that thing into your lovely home.
Well, it's only temporarily, dear, just till we find its owner.
Of that you can be absolutely certain.
You see, even the doctor don't like it.
It's not that I don't like it, Maud. It's just that I happen to believe that in nature there's a place for everything, and the place for that bird is not in our drawing room.
Oh, the poor little pigeon, then.
Yes. But the main reason I shall be glad to see the back of that bird is because of what it's doing to Hilda.
I got through.
Oh, any luck, Tom, dear?
Of course. I spoke to the owner's wife. That thing's lost. Shouldn't be anywhere near here. Anyway, she'll get him to come and collect it at the weekend.
At the weekend? But it's only Wednesday, dear. What are we supposed to do with it in the meantime?
Don't look at me, Hilda. That, as they say, is your pigeon.
And don't look at me neither, Dame Hilda. You know I'd do anything for you, but I'll not nursemaid a pigeon, not after what they done to my hat.
Don't worry, Dame. As long as that bird is still here when the man arrives. Now, if he comes all the way from Normanton and finds it gone, he'll kill you.
Now, there you are, Hilda. A nice change for you. You can spend a few days bird watching.
Now, I was going to suggest that we took a stroll down to the Emporium to settle that colour scheme.
You'll have to do it alone, Evadne. I can't leave the bird. Not with more hostile and sweet-timid cats.
No, you don't. I know you. Duck the responsibility of choosing and do nothing but grumble afterwards. Well, I'm not having it. You can bring the bird with you.
Oh, what a good idea, Doctor. Get it out of the house.
And how do you suppose I'm going to carry it, Evadne?
Stick it on your shoulder like Long John Silver.
I'll see if I can find a cardboard box.
I am not carrying a cardboard box.
Here, tell you what. I've got an old goldfish bowl back home. We can pop it in the goldfish bowl, put a plate over the top, and make a string handle to carry it by. How about that?
And what, Tom, dear, do you imagine people would think if they saw me walking down the street, swinging a goldfish bowl with a pigeon in it and a plate over the top?
They'd probably think you've got an Arts Council grant, dear. Like that man who wanders around carrying a plank.
Perhaps they'd think you'd a pigeon what ate goldfish instead of the berries off people's hats.
This conversation is getting rather distasteful, especially to that pigeon. Oh, look at him. He's gone all droop. You don't know which would be worse, do you, little darling? To be left with 3 pussycats in your Auntie Maud, or carried and dissected in a goldfish bowl with a plate over your head on.
Why don't you take the kettle?
Kettle, Maud? Did you say kettle, dear?
Well, it's got everything you need. A handle to hold it by, a lid to cover it, and a spout so it can breathe.
And then somebody says to me, why are you carrying that kettle? And I say I got my pigeon in it. I mean, talk about silly suffer. Now, until that man arrives, everything else will have to wait. I'm housebound with that bird. Well, over the next few days, we all grew quite fond of the bird, you see. Even Maud soon stopped calling it Ratbag. And she bought it a big plastic dog bone, though whether she expected it to perch on it or eat it, I'll never know. All 3 cats, once they'd got over the initial shock, were very brave and eventually stopped hiding from it altogether. And it lived in a cardboard box in the kitchen, and it slept It slept on one of Evadne's old Wincy nighties. Well, I'm sure she wouldn't have minded, and I did give it a thorough wash before I slipped it back in the drawer. Mind you, on the Friday morning there was a bit of a scene. When Evadne discovered that it had got into the bathroom and made rather a mess of her loofah. So it was with rather mixed feelings that we finally welcomed the bird's owner. Mind, the bird didn't welcome it at all.
Blasted bird. And how do you think I'm going to get it down from the roof, then?
Well, couldn't you just call it?
Call it? I'd call it, all right. But not in front of ladies.
Perhaps we could lure it with food.
Oh, yes, it loves chocolate.
No, you've not been giving it chocolate, I hope.
Well, Evadne has, yes, I have. But just a little bit, you know. It adores those chocolate-covered peanuts, didn't you know?
Oh, blasted bird.
Would you like me to get you a ladder?
Hey, you don't think I'm going up after it, do you? Oh, I'd have thought you'd have had it in a box, ready and waiting.
It was ready and waiting till you arrived.
I'll tell you somewhat about that bird. It's useless. Always getting lost. Never won a race. Never even finished one. You're useless. Bad blood, you see. His brothers are just the same. Your brothers are just the same. The old clutch. Useless. A waste of time. You're a waste of time. Oh, forget it. Let's go.
What do you mean, forget it?
I mean, forget it. Leave it. Luckily, I had a business appointment here any road. I'd not have bothered else. Well, it's your last chance. Are you coming down or not? Duff it. I do beg your pardon, ladies, but that thing drives me wild. Well, I'll be off. Thanks for ringing.
But what are we supposed to do with it?
Do with it? I'll tell you what to do with it. If you can catch it, put it in a pie.
What an obnoxious little man.
Don't worry, Hilda. It'll be all right. They return to the wild, you know.
Oh, look, there's another one with it now.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, and they're going, look. They're off. They're disappearing into the trees over there.
Ah.
You know, I think I'm really going to miss that bird.
I have to confess, Hilda, I was beginning to get rather attached to it myself.
Oh, look. Look, both birds, they're circling, and they're turning, and they're coming back this way. Quick, Evadne, indoors here, and shut that drawing room window.
The Random Jottings of Hinge and Bracket, with Dr. Evadne Hinge and Dame Hilda Bracket. With friends and neighbours at Stackton Tressel, Daphne heard David Griffin and Anthony Sharp in The Art Market.
Historically speaking, the artistic achievement of Stackton Tressel is decidedly limited to two people. There was a local sculptor appropriately named Stone, but by far the most prolific of our local artists was a Peregrine Cobb. He was a watercolourist who gained the nickname Cassidy Cobb, because his palette was limited entirely to shades of yellow. This gave his snowscapes some curiosity value, and his portraits a decidedly jaundiced look. The tiny local art gallery and museum was bequeathed some 3,500 of his pictures in 1948. These are exhibited on a rotation basis, 2 at a time. Changing every month, which means, of course, that one only has to live in Stackton for 145 years to see the lot. But there is art in Stackton still, as Evadne and I discovered the morning we went to the Music Emporium to inspect the decor and to arrange the stock prior to reopening. You know, Evadne, I'm still not sure that we chose the right colours for this room, dear.
We didn't choose them, Hilda. You did.
Now, that's simply not true. I distinctly remember Tom, you and I standing on this very spot looking at that colour chart together.
And I distinctly remember you insisting on marshmallow walls and a buttermilk ceiling, Hilda. Even Tom thought it would look gooey.
It doesn't look gooey.
Those marshmallow walls are definitely gooey.
Oh, nonsense. Anyway, it's the buttermilk ceiling that worries me. I just don't think it's right.
I told you it wouldn't be.
You did not.
I most certainly did.
Well, I didn't tell you. You must have mumbled. You do that sometimes, you know, dear. You mumble.
You heard all right. You flatly refused to take my advice.
If you were so sure you were right, dear, you should have insisted. I would have done.
You did. And look what we got.
Anyway, we don't want to argue about it.
I say, Hilda.
What, dear?
There's a strange little man peering out the window.
Oh, yes.
I think he's trying to attract our attention.
Well, I certainly can't think of any other reason why he'd be jumping up and down like that and waving. Unless he's a bit funny.
Have you ever seen him before?
No, never. And in that red woolly hat and that bright green suit, he looks as if he's fallen off somebody's rockery. I wonder where his fishing rod is.
Go and tell him the shop's not open yet, Hilda.
Oh, very well. I'm sorry, but we're not open yet.
It's no good shouting through the letterbox, Hilda. Unlock the door and see what the man wants.
Oh, honestly. Excuse me, young man, but if you're looking for us, we're not open yet, as the sign says.
Oh, it's all right. I don't want to buy anything. I was told you might be able to help me.
Well, you'd better come in.
Thanks. You see, I've only recently moved into Stackton. I'm an artist, a painter. You are Dame Hilda Brackett?
Yes, dear.
I'm Gareth Morley.
Yes, dear.
The name doesn't mean anything to you?
Well, no, I'm afraid it doesn't. Evadne, does the name Gareth Morley mean anything to you, dear?
No.
Well, he seems to think it should. I'm very sorry, Mr. Morley. I'm sure they've heard of you somewhere now, but it certainly doesn't seem to be around now.
No. There seems to have been a bit of a breakdown in communications. You see, I understood from Mrs. Dyrenforth up at the big house.
Oh, Lorna.
Yes. That she'd already spoken to you about me, and that you were going to organise the art market for her.
We were going to organise it, were we?
That's what she said. Arts and crafts, yes. Stalls. One Saturday, perhaps. You know the sort of thing.
Oh, I know the sort of thing, all right. And we were going to organise it.
Oh, do stop saying that, Evadne. He's made himself perfectly plain. We were going to organise it.
Hilda,
yes.
Have you put Lorna Dyrenforth's number in that little book by the phone yet?
Yes, dear, under damp-proofing.
Why is Lorna under damp-proofing, Hilda?
She's under D, dear. So far, there are 2 entries under D, damp-proofing and Dyrenforth. And alphabetically, Dyrenforth comes under damp-proofing. It's all perfectly logical, but of course, if you can do anything better...
No, dear. I'll give her a call straight away.
Evadne?
What, dear?
Control. Count to 10 before you dial. After all, she organises the roster of helpers for this place, don't forget. And we don't want to scupper ourselves on a point of principle.
It's all right, Hilda. I shall be polite but very firm. Just leave it to me.
I really am most frightfully sorry to have caused all this bother.
Oh, it's no bother, dear. Between you and me, Evadne thrives on misunderstandings.
Well, Mrs. Dyrenforth was certainly right about you, Dame Hilda.
Was she, dear? And what exactly did she say?
She said I would recognise you at once by your wonderful bone structure.
Did she say that? How very sweet of her. So so perceptive.
She suggested, and I intend to take her up on this suggestion, if you're agreeable.
Yeah.
She suggested that I should paint you in the character of Brunhilda. I bet you were superb in the role.
As a matter of fact, I was. I still have my Brunhilde costume at home. It fits absolutely perfectly. Not that I wear it about the house, of course. But it's rather too dressy even for the evenings. Yeah. It's the winged helmet, you see. It just pushes it that teeny bit too far. Oh, here's Evadne back. Well, did you speak to her, dear?
Yes, I did.
You didn't upset her?
No, I didn't.
You counted up to 10, then, just as I told her?
Yes, I did. And I wish I hadn't.
Why, dear?
Because you talked me into it.
Well, there you are then, Mr. Morley. You were right after all. We are organising the art market. If the truth be told, I was really rather excited about the idea of the art market. I visualized a great coming together under one roof for one glorious day of all the multifarious talents that usually flower unseen in Stackton. At one stall, a potter slinging his pots. At another, an iron worker working his irons. At a third, a spoke shaver shaving his spoke. I felt it most important that we secured the right premises, and I held in my mind's eye a vision of the beauty, elegance, and exquisite taste of somewhere like Glyndebourne, or Blenheim, or the Orangery at Holland House. However, in the event, we had to settle for the old gasworks. Well, mind you, it was a superb example of Victorian architecture, containing a lot of lovely filigree work and fluted cast-iron columns. And as Evadne pointed out, the lingering smell of gas could prove of great benefit to anybody suffering from whooping coughes. More practically, it was the only place that was anything like large enough that we could get for nothing. The response from Stackton was overwhelming, and some few days before the event, Evadne and I settled into the drawing room at the old manse, and we began the task of allocating floor space to prospective exhibitors.
Now, what about the candle maker, Hilda? Where shall we put him there?
Somewhere where it's not going to matter too much if the floor is covered in hot wax, dear. Certainly not en route to the refreshments or the lavatories.
Right, C3, Hilda. That's the corner of the old retort house.
Sounds fine. And if it's too dark, he can always light his candle. Now, what about that terrible Mrs. Spicer?
Oh, the Meals on Wheels lady.
Yes, old Madame Bossy Boots. Oh, she thinks she's so clever. Stick her somewhere well out of the way, dear.
What is she exhibiting?
Well, she says she does something interesting with acorns, dear. I can't think of anything interesting one can do with an acorn, except plant it and grow an oak tree.
No, she'll never manage that on a Saturday afternoon, dear.
I certainly hope not. We don't want her to be troubled with squirrels.
I'll tell you what, I'll stick her round the back of the scrubber. She can do anything she likes with her acorns there.
Evadne, I do wish you'd stop using gasworks jargon, dear. All this talk of retorts and scrubbers, it really doesn't suit you, you know. You're far too tall. Now, what about Maud, dear? Evadne, you did put her old Englishy sweetie shoppers somewhere prominent, I hope.
Oh, yes, I have. But I've not put anyone too close to her, just in case.
Well, talk of the devil, that sounds like her now.
Good morning, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Hello, Maud, dear.
Good morning, Maud.
And how did your sweetie making turn out in the end, dear?
Well, I had no trouble with me marzipan potatoes.
Oh, splendid.
And me peppermint cream penguins. But the pulled toffee weren't easy at all.
Pulled toffee? That's very advanced, isn't it, dear?
Well, the making of it's not so hard. You just melt the butter, add the sugar, water, drop a vinegar in a treacle, and boil them up. It's then as the trouble starts. With the pulling. I got the recipe here in me bag. Now, just listen to this.
Yeah.
It says, to draw the toffee, 2 people are needed, each with well-buttered ham.
My God.
Now, lift the hot, soft mixture from the pan and pull ropes of it to pass to your partner. Throw it backwards and forwards, changing hand when the heat is unbearable. Use more butter on the hands if they are burning. Work fast, or it'll set too soon.
Sounds fraught with danger.
Well, I don't see how you could possibly do that on your own, dear.
Why, I didn't do it on my own. I did it with my Arthur.
Doubly fraught with danger.
Oh, he did his best. He really did. I have to admit it. I'm going down the hospital to see him later.
The hospital, dear.
1st degree burns. But mercifully, 'tis only his hands. His feet ain't nothing like so bad.
What exactly did he do to his feet, Maud?
Why, you see, one of his shoes got stuck to the floor, and he were working in his stocking feet. Now, I don't know whether you've ever dropped a dollop of boiling hot coffee on your stocking foot, Dame Hilda.
Well, no, dear, never.
My Arthur's had hot coffee, and according to him, 'tis pretty painful. The air was absolutely blue.
His language was bad, was it, Maud?
Oh, it weren't his language, Doctor. It were the second pan of toffee. It caught. While I were trying to help him up.
Help him up, Maud.
Off the floor where he'd fallen. Fallen? Trying to open the window he were when he slipped. That's how he got his laceration. When his hand went through the glass. Burns and lacerations. Dame Hilda, I do hope it's all been worth it. Here, try a toffee, see what you think.
Thank you, dear. They look lovely. I'll have it later on. Do give Arthur our love when you see him, won't you, dear? Oh, that's probably Major Dyrenforth and Tom back from the round.
I'll go, Dame Hilda, and then I'll get on with me work. It'll be nice to be in the kitchen where everything ain't sticky.
Yes, we like it that way as well, Maud.
Perhaps we should send Arthur a little get-well present, dear.
What do you suggest, Hilda? Sweets?
Oh, don't. Arthur doesn't like sweets, which makes his predicament all the more sad.
Ladies.
Oh, Major, Tom, you're back.
Afternoon,
No.
all.
Hello, dear. Did everything go all right?
You know, Hilda, I had no idea what went on behind the closed doors of Stackton. Men I knew only as rugger blues and old Rotarians spending their evenings making pixies out of pipe cleaners.
Now, you did call on Mrs. Telford, I hope, Major. She was most insistent. It seems she and all those ghastly children have been hard at it for ages making things. Well, you know what she's like, a sort of one-parent caboose.
No, we saw her all right. She opened the sitting room door, and there they were, everywhere.
The children?
The porcupines.
Porcupines, sir?
You couldn't see the carpet for them, Hilda. They were drying their snouts.
Well, how did their snouts got wet in the first place?
They'd painted them, you see.
Oh.
Pine cones made into porcupines with shiny black snouts.
And little beady eyes. Glass like teddy bears, only tiny. Didn't half give me a turn. She switches on the light and there's 2,000 beady glass eyes. Wallop. Like Walt Disney had gone into horror movies.
Do they really look like porcupines, Major?
Well, to be quite honest, no. They look like pine cones with painted snouts and...
Now, about the PA system, Major.
Ah, yes, the PA system. Tom?
Oh, yes, the PA system. Now, I haven't quite sorted that out.
I suppose you mean it hasn't fallen off the back of the lorry yet, do you?
I don't know. As a matter of fact, I don't, Dame. The trouble is, the stuff I'm giving to the fellow in exchange for the PA system, well, that ain't fallen off the back of the lorry yet.
Oh, Maud.
I've made us all a nice cup of tea, Dame Hilda.
Well, now everybody's here, we can try your coffee, Maud. Pass it round, dear, will you?
I've got some in my pocket here. It's a bit sticky. Still, 2 fingers.
Doctor? Thank you, Maud. No, don't bother, dear. I'll pick the fluff off myself.
Tom?
The rock upon which our kitchen foundered.
Major?
I say, this looks rather splendid. You must give the recipe to my good lady wife. Might get her off the sugar and mice. She uses all my garden twine for tails.
What about Amanda?
Dame Hilda.
Thank you, Maud. Bless you. Wow.
So I says he just shouldn't. You can't buy coffee like that.
By the time the day of the Ark Market arrived, we were all talking normally again. Though Evadne had, meantime, found it necessary to make a fuss and pay a visit to the dentist. After all, she does so enjoy her little moments of martyrdom. Well, on the appointed day, the old gasworks was packed. Now, as we had organised the whole show, we'd naturally given ourselves the prime site for our music stall. It was an old loading bay, the only raised platform left in the entire place. And it was in such a position that anybody going anywhere had to pass it. Clever, you see. After all, we were going to sing as well as sell music, so it did seem important that we were somewhere central where we could be heard by everybody. Anyway, as Evadne said, if anybody's having that, we are. And I agreed with her. So we did. And at last, the time for the official opening of the Stackton's first arts and crafts market drew near. Oh, Tom, dear, it's almost time for the opening ceremony. Have you been round, and is everybody all right?
More or less. 1 or 2 little hiccups.
Oh, dear.
The glass blower's burned his lips. He's singed his moustache and set fire to his trousers twice already. And the potter, he hasn't got the speed of his wheel right yet. His remains of 3 earthenware vases splattered all over the end of the wall. So I advise you, when you go past him, duck.
Oh, and Tom, would you have a quiet word with that lad who's selling the T-shirts and badges? I mean, I'm not easily shocked. But I was.
It didn't stop you reading them all, though, did it?
Well, I mean, how else could I have found out that they were shocking, dear?
I'd already told you that.
Well, yes, I know, but I had to make sure you weren't just being stuffy.
Let's not pursue it, dear. Now, Tom, what about the microphone? Shouldn't it be here? The Major will open the show from our stand, you see.
So that we can get a good crowd right at the start.
I'll fetch it over. Be back in a jiff.
I say, Daphne, just look at the crowd round Maud's sweet stall already.
Get your hands off my humbugs, you little varmint. I'll bet it never comes.
She should have got a school tuck shop, really, Hilda. She has such a way with children. And here comes your little artist friend. Mind you don't trip over him, dear.
Daphne, he'll hear you. Hello, Mr. Morley. All ready for the off?
Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. I do hope you'll find time to come and look at my work, Dame Hilda, especially in view of your promise to pose for me.
Oh, yes, dear, yes. Don't worry, I certainly shall.
I look forward to seeing you then. Must run.
Quick, Evadne, let's have a peep while he's not there. You see, one should never look at an artist's work while the artist is in the room, dear. One cannot be objective.
Don't you mean rude, Hilda?
Well, yes, I do. But I was using artistic phraseology, you see. Oh, here it is. Oh, I say. It's funny stuff, isn't it?
Yes, isn't it?
Oh, he seems to specialise in feet. He does seem to paint everything from such a very low angle.
He is terribly small.
Yes, but even so, I mean, look at that one, the old windmill. You can't even see the sails.
It's his vision, Hilda.
Well, I really cannot for the life of me see why a man should have a vision of just the bottoms of things. He was going to paint me, you know. But I don't think I'll risk it.
No. You're probably wise, dear. Though you do have lovely feet.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I've got a better idea.
Have you now? What's that?
I'll ask him to repaint that ceiling at the Emporium instead. You know, I think it would look lovely if it was the colour of those cows. I wonder what colour that is.
Goo.
Pardon?
Nothing at all. Sorry, Major. Just evaluating a picture. Ready to open up, are we?
Yes, but there's a slight snag, I'm afraid. You see, the extra cable for the microphone hasn't arrived, and the lad who was supposed to be bringing it can't be found anywhere. Lorna says we should get on and open it anywhere.
But will you be able to make yourself heard from our stall without a microphone, Major? No.
So I'm going to open it using the microphone at the fullest extent of the existing cable.
And where exactly does that take it to?
Lorna's stall.
Funny. I had a premonition.
Well, I must run. Tom's signalling. Wish me luck.
Wish him luck. I hope he trips over his little length of cable.
Roll up. Major Deering Force is about to formally open the show. Get around.
I do think Tom could do that with a little less enjoyment. Oh, look, Evadne. Everybody's vanished right down there. Oh, and it was so important that we were established as the centre of activity.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have often thought the people of Stackton Tressel were by nature crafty, but now I find to my delight that they are arty as well.
Hilda, hand me a sheet of music.
Which one, Leah?
Anyone, the top one.
Here you are, then.
Ah, splendid. Kitty the telephone girl. Nice and jolly and loud.
What are you up to, dear?
Hilda, we have 3 things that Lorna Durnforth doesn't. A piano and 2 strong voices. The minute he finishes, we start.
Right.
So I declare this first Stackton Arts and Crafts Market open.
Sing!
Kitty, isn't it a pity in the city you're what's for? With your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, 7, 8, Gerard. Kitty, isn't it a pity that we're wasting so much time with your lips close to the telephone when they should be close to mine?
It's working. They're coming back. There's just one more time, Daphne. Go on, dear. Let's have it once more.
Kitty, isn't it a pity in the city you work so hard? With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, 7, 8, Gerard. Oh, Kitty, isn't it a pity that we're wasting so much time with your lips close to the telephone when they should be close to mine?
In an affair of the heart.
Stackton Tressel recently gained a new asset with the reopening of the Music Emporium, which had been bequeathed to Evadne and myself under the terms of old Miss Blenkinsop's will. And so we threw a little party on the premises to celebrate. Just 25 or 30 carefully chosen people, Though, as Evadne said, there quickly seemed a good deal more and considerably less carefully chosen. The Stackton Bureau sent a cub reporter along because their music correspondent was covering the finals of the local sheepdog trials. And we all drank a good deal of sherry, and this rather went to our heads as there wasn't very much to eat. Well, as you can imagine, next morning I felt just a teeny bit fragile, and I didn't feel at all like facing the special breakfast that Evadne had prepared. Evadne, what exactly is this that you've given me on toast, dear?
Puffballs.
Well, I'm sorry, dear. I didn't mean to upset you. I was just curious, that's all.
They are puffball mushrooms, Hilda. I found them in the lane this morning. They were on the verge.
Well, I don't know what they were on the verge of, dear. But by the time they got onto my toast, they'd definitely gone over it.
The puffballs have a long and very ancient history, Hilda.
Yes. These look rather as if they might have had.
Do you know, at one time, country people used to do all manner of things with them.
You intrigue me, dear.
No, I mean, you see, they put them on wounds to heal them. They kindled their fires with them. They set light to them and intoxicated their bees with the smoke prior to opening their hives.
I see. Anything sooner than eat them.
Well, of course they used to eat them. That is a great delicacy you have there, you know.
But it doesn't look like mushrooms, Evadne. It doesn't even smell like mushrooms, and I adore mushrooms.
Well, that's my special way of preparing them, Hilda. It's basically Mrs. Beeton, beefed up a bit by my own distinctive flair for fungi.
No wonder it looks like it does.
Just try them, Hilda. They won't kill you.
Can I have that in writing, please?
Oh, get on with it.
You know, you really are rather delicious.
That's the trouble with you, Hilda. You always scream before you're hurt.
Gorgeous. I say, these aren't the mushrooms that make you hallucinate, are they?
No.
Incidentally, Daphne, did you notice last night during the party how Miss Blenkinsop kept tinkling all the time?
Did you mean the wind chime, Hilda?
It's more than just a wind chime there. I've told you that before. That thing exudes Miss Blenkinsop's presence, and last night she was definitely restless.
Well, I'm not surprised with 30 people full of sherry whooping around her wind chime. And most of them with feathers in their hats.
Oh, no, it wasn't that. I think she was trying to tell us something.
And I bet you know what it was she was trying to tell us, don't you, now?
Well, Miss Blenkinsop and I did have a certain rapport.
Yes, despite the fact that you never really liked her and very seldom saw her.
Now, that's not fair.
Let's get it over with, Hilda. What does Miss Blenkinsop want now?
She wants her harp back.
Mrs. Dale's harp?
Yes. She wants me to take it back to the Emporium.
Oh, Hilda, what a shame. And you were so attached to that harp.
Well, I think she's thinking of you now.
What exactly has this got to do with me?
Oh, Evadne, you've done nothing but complain about that harp ever since I brought it here from the Emporium that first day we looked over the place. And Miss Blenkinsop obviously doesn't want a cherished possession to be where it's not wanted. I mean, it was you who said it was in the way when we had it in the hall, wasn't it?
Well, it was.
And it was you who said it was still in the way when we moved it into the drawing room.
That's right. But then you took it into your bedroom, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, it's not in the way in there, is it?
No, I suppose it's not.
Unless, of course, it's in your way, dear.
Well, no.
Then why have you taken to wearing dark stockings just to hide the bruises on your legs? And another thing. That harp stands there as a constant reproach to you, doesn't it?
I don't know what you mean.
There you sit, with not a fingernail left unbroken. And no nearer to being able to play the harp than you were at the very beginning.
Oh, you're a very hard, wicked woman, Daphne.
And now you want to get rid of it, don't you? Admit it. Well, if you want to take it back, take it back. But don't lay the blame on me or on the late Miss Blenkinsop. Now, what are you going to do?
Take it back.
Well, that's a blessing. I must say, I'm very glad it's all over.
Yes, so, my dear. You know, that harp was coming between us, wasn't it?
It wasn't so much the harp that was coming between us, Hilda. It was your refusal to be honest about it.
Well, I've seen the light, dear. Mrs. Dale would be proud of me. Now, let's see if we can find a nice, happy song to celebrate our fresh starts in life. The opening of the Emporium and my newfound honesty over that harp.
Well, how about It's a Sin to Tell a Lie? I'm sure that's here somewhere.
No, I'm looking for something happier now. What's that one you've got in your hand now?
That's called Ring the Bell Softly, There's Crepe on the Door. Mind you, it's got a nice black border around it.
Oh, no, that's not the sort of thing at all.
Very well, then, any time to help.
Oh, here we are. Now, what about this one? It's called Good Morning, Brother Sunshine. Now, that's got a lovely feeling about it.
Well, give it here, then.
All right. Good morning, Brother Sunshine. Good morning, Sister Song. I beg your humble pardon if you've waited very long. I thought I heard you knocking. To shut you out was sin. My heart is standing open. Won't you walk right in? Good morning. Won't you walk right in? Good morning, Brother Gladness. Good morning, Sister Smile. They told me you were coming, so I waited all a while. Was only here without you. A weary time it seems. My heart is standing open. Won't you walk right in? Good morning. Won't you walk right in? Well, wasn't that a spirited rendition? You know, dear, I have a feeling it's going to be a really lovely carefree day.
Well, I wouldn't bank on it, dear. That sounds like Maud.
Oh, good morning, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Hello, Maud, dear.
Good morning, Maud.
Do you mind if I use your telephone, Dame Hilda? Only ours at home is out of order.
How long have you been like that, dear?
Well, ever since first thing this morning, when I stood on it. And I was being ever so careful.
I'm sure you were, Maud. We all know just how careful you can be.
I put the phone on the floor to clean the window in the hall. Well, I like to keep the place nice. And I went up my steps all right. And coming down, I even jumped specially to avoid it. But I swear that phone must have moved between me leaving that ladder and it in the floor.
Well, accidents do happen, dear. Use ours by all means.
Oh, thank you, Dame Hilda. And I'll report the call box while I'm on.
The call box, now?
Well, I tried to report ours from the call box on the corner.
Oh, I see. And wasn't it working?
It was when I got there. But it wasn't when I left. Wouldn't you think they'd fix them wires more firmly to the wall?
I see. You mean the receiver actually came off in your hand? Maud?
Yes, Doctor. And the rest came off on me foot.
The rest?
The old box fell right off the wall.
The box, dear.
That box you put your money in. I never hit that hard. I swear I didn't. Why, my fist was hardly clenched.
I can't think why you hit it at all, Maud. You've no need to put money in it if you're just reporting a fault.
I know that, Doctor. I hadn't put money in. I always hit him, just in case.
In case what, Maud, dear?
Well, in case there's loose money lurking.
And tell me, Maud, did any money come out this morning?
It did when the box hit the floor. It was when I was bending to pick it up, as my backside went through the glass. Badly built, them new ones, Too much glass. Then as I was straightening up again, I hit smeared on the directory. That fell off and all. Metal fatigue or something. They don't make screws like they do. I've noticed that at home. Anyway, that's when I gives up. There was nothing else I could do.
I don't know. There were still 3 sides intact, weren't there?
2, Doctor. There was 2. The door came off trying to get in.
And I always thought it was vandals.
Well, makes you wonder just how safe that post office tower is.
Here, Maud, won't you? And do be careful now.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
Well, we don't want any more accidents, do we, Maud? Especially to you.
I see. Gave a dog a bad name.
Oh, Maud, Tom is going to give us a lift down to the Emporium this morning, isn't he, dear?
Well, he said he was. Though I don't you want to go with him when you find out what he's got?
What's he got, dear? Is it something catching?
It catches you in the end, all right. But not till it's too late. Now, I'm going to phone.
What did she mean by that, dear?
I don't know, now. Very enigmatic. By the look on her face, it sounds like the Black Death.
Well, as long as it's not that Hong Kong flu.
There's Tom now. Oh, I see what she meant.
What, dear?
He's come in a hearse.
Was that bad?
No, dear, he's driving it.
Is he, alone?
Yes, dear.
Oh, well, that's all right, then. He's probably going on somewhere, be doing a bit of moonlighting.
Really, Hilda, you make the poor lad sound like a grave robber.
Probably come to tell us we shall have to make our own way home.
Morning, ladies.
Good morning, Tom, dear.
Hello, Tom.
All ready for the off, are we?
Have you come for us, dear?
Well, you said you wanted to lift down to the Emporium this morning.
Well, we did, yes, but what exactly are we going in?
But my new motor. Why?
The big black one with the silver handles inside.
Oh, you've seen it, have you? Bit of all right, eh? Only got 10,000 miles on the clock. And you can bet your boots it hasn't been thrashed.
Well, it could hardly be more suitable in the circumstances, Tom. Hilda wants to take her harp with her.
Well, there we are then. What a bit of luck, eh?
You're not going to leave that thing like it is, surely, Tom?
Oh, no. I'm going to convert it into a minibus. By the time I finish with it, it'll look like a sunshine coach. I put in 1 row of seats already, but I haven't finished yet. So you've still got all that room at the back where you'd normally put the, whatnot.
Well, I'm not going to sit where you'd normally put the whatnot. And that's split.
You don't have to, Dame. We put the Harp where you'd normally put the whatnot, and we all sit up front.
Well, we shall look like an undertaker's outing.
Don't be so ridiculous, Hilda. It's only a vehicle when all's said and done.
When all's said and done, it might be, Daphne, but mercifully, all is not yet said and done as far as I'm concerned.
Hilda, we're supposed to be there at 10. Now, are you coming with us, or would you rather walk down on your own, humping your harp?
Oh, very well, but I certainly can't go in this flowered frock. Not in that vehicle, not in this. Supposing someone was to see us. I think I'd better just go upstairs and slip into something somber.
Now, don't overdo it, Hilda. We don't want the bombazine and the black net veil, dear. Remember, when you get there, you've got to open a shop.
Well, I'm not going to dress like the widow of Windsor, dear. But I do think it's somewhat inappropriate to look too gay.
I say, do you think I look all right?
You look absolutely fine, Evadne. You always look as if you're going to a funeral anyway. And so, eventually, suitably attired and clutching the harp, we all set off. We arrived at the high street amid occasional raucous shouts from the curbside of, "They're dead, but they won't lie down." So I must admit I was extremely glad when finally we screeched to a halt outside the Emporium, and Evadne and I were able to let go of the silver handles, which we'd been holding on to so grimly, and we were able to scurry for the safety of the shop. Well, I've never had a journey like that.
Got a good turn of speed, ain't it? You don't often see a move like that.
No, you don't.
I should think you don't, dear. They'd never keep the flowers on the roof.
Now then, Dame, where do you want me to put this harp, then?
Over there, I think, Tom, dear, please, by the gramophone.
If you put it there, Hilda, it'll be in the way.
Oh, don't start that again.
I suggest you put it where it was before.
No, it didn't look right there, dear. Too pokey. It needs displaying.
How about here?
Not there, dear. No.
All here?
No, Tom, definitely not there.
Well, here, then.
No, Tom, in the way again.
Oh, do you mind if I put it down for a minute or two? I think I've snapped a muscle. I'll tell you what, ladies.
Yes.
I've got to pop off now.
I told you he was going somewhere, didn't I, dear?
Well, I promised to pick somebody up, you see.
Alive or dead?
Anyone we know, Tom, dear?
No, it's just a bloke who's managed to lay hands on a bit of paint for the respray job. I'll pop back a bit later on and see if you've made up your minds, okay? Oh, here. Tell you what would make life easier with that harp of yours, Dame.
What's that, dear?
Bang it on wheels. Put a motor in it and a seat. Well, then you could drive it round like they do them little mowers. Music while you mow. Hey, I know someone who could do it for you. For a new grass box, a bird table, and half a dozen hamsters.
He must be very fond of hamsters.
Oh, he races them. But they're always running off. He don't half get through some hamsters. Well, I'll be away. See you later.
Yes, bye-bye, Tom, dear, and thank you.
Goodbye, Tom.
Well, I've never heard of anyone racing hamsters before.
They race tortoises, Hilda.
And do they ever win?
Well, they only race them against other tortoises, dear, so I suppose some of them must.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Can we help you?
Yes, how much do you want for the harp?
Oh, it's not for sale.
Can we show you anything else?
No, it's the harp I'm interested in.
How about a gramophone?
I've got a gramophone.
Well, you haven't got that one, have you?
I don't want it either. I wouldn't give it out soon. I want that harp.
I know. A music box.
Oh, I hate them. Jingle, jangle, tinkle, tinkle. Same old tune over and over again. Bless this house, the anniversary waltz, or the bluebells of Scotland. You're never quite sure which.
Would you like a bust of Beethoven?
I use one for a doorstop.
Are you interested in sheet music at all?
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, well, we've got lots of that. All sorts. We'll play you one. Choose.
Oh, I'm easy.
Well, choose.
Well, anything you like.
Well, choose.
It's all part of the service, you see. Then you know what you're buying.
Oh, very well. Here we are. Then first off the pile, Marcushla.
Oh, nice. Right, oh, Evadne, carry out. Ready when you are, lover.
Macushla, your sweet voice is calling me softly again and again. Macushla, I hear it still pleading. My boy, Macushla, I hear it in vain. Macushla, your white arms are reaching. I feel their enfolding, caressing me still. Fling them out from the darkness, my lost love, Macushla. Let them find me again, if you will. Macushla,
I know it, of course.
Well, then you'll buy it.
How much?
Well, you can have all of it.
I mean, how much do you want for it?
How much do we want for it, Evadne?
I've no idea there. What do you think?
Oh, I'll give you 10p.
Very well, then, 10 theatres. You've got a real bargain there, you know, because it's autographed.
Right. Now then, how much do you want for the harp?
Now, wait a minute. You've bought the sheet music, haven't you?
But what sort of a place is this? If a man comes in to buy an harp, he's hardly likely to be satisfied going out with a 10p sheet of music he's got at home anyhow, now is he?
But the harp is not for sale, dear.
But look, I thought this was an emporium, and an emporium is a place where you sell things.
Well, we've just sold you something, haven't we?
But you haven't sold me what I come in to buy now, are you?
No, because what you came in to buy isn't for sale.
Look, I don't know how to get this into your head. You see, I mean, how shall I put it? I want that harp!
And I don't know how to get this into your head. You're not having it!
Now, let's be reasonable about this. It is an extremely difficult instrument to play, you know.
Oh, I see. It's difficult to play.
Oh, it's terribly difficult. I mean, Dr. Hinge, she is a doctor of music and an LRAM, and she can't play one, can you, dear?
No, I don't. No.
And I've had this one up at home for some time now, and I'll let you into a little secret as well. I've not mastered it yet, have I now?
No, dear, you haven't, have you?
Oh, I didn't realize it was so very, very hard.
Oh, yeah.
Have you thought of something a little easier? A treble recorder, perhaps? Harmonica. Now, Larry Adler did very well with one of those.
Oh, he did, yes.
So much more portable, too.
No, it's the harp I was really after. Look, would you mind very much if I just sat down and strummed it?
Of course, by all means.
Do mind your nails, though.
Oh, I'll be very careful. Oh, may I use that chair?
Yes, do. By all means. You got the hang of that very quickly.
Oh, it's just a little something I happened to pick up at the Royal College of Music.
Oh.
But it's still not for sale, is it?
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh, well, I'll pop in again. I'm round this way fairly regularly, and I've set my heart on that harp. Oh, you'll come round to selling it, I know you will. I had the same trouble once with a man in Bishop Stortford. Didn't want to sell me a Swansea cockle plate. So I waited, I bided my time. Oh, I got it in the end.
How?
Ah, that's my little secret, isn't it? But I warn you, I'm a very patient man, and I always get what I want in the end. Goodbye, for now.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Which way's he gone?
He hasn't yet, dear. He's standing outside, looking through the window.
Is he eyeing it?
Yeah.
Covetously.
Say so.
That does it. I'm taking it home again. I will learn to play it now, and we'll keep it in the conservatory. Now, it won't be in anybody's way out there, will it?
No, I suppose not.
There you are, you see. Miss Blenkinsop is tinkling. She wants me to take it home.
Hilda, Miss Blenkinsop was the one who only this morning you said wants you to bring it down here.
You may remember, Evadne, that was one of Miss Blenkinsop's failings in life.
What was, dear?
She could never make up her mind.
With Dr. Evadne Hinge and Dame Hilda Brackett. With friends and neighbours at Stackton Tressel, Daphne Hurd, David Griffin, Anthony Sharp, in a lot of Tulle and a little imagination.
The social life of Stackton Tressel is, in the main, sedate and dignified. But there are certain occasions on which a degree of good-humoured wildness is customarily tolerated. There is, for example, the harvest supper, the traditional climax to which is the performing by members of the Young Farmers Club of the Stackton Turnip Dance. Although of comparatively recent origin, it is decidedly primitive in its abandon. And comes as nothing of a revelation to anyone who thinks there is not much fun to be got out of a turnip. Also in October comes the annual nutting. Now, this is when the chairman of the parish council and some of the other dignitaries sneak under cover of darkness and in commando style up to the vicarage, strip all the hazelnuts from the vicar's trees. These, of course, they subsequently auction for charity at the autumn fair, the highest bidder gaining the much sought-after title, Holder of the Vicar's Nuts. But there are several other occasions that tend to wildness, and it was about one such that Major Dillenforth called one morning to see Evadne and myself.
It's about the fancy dress ball that I come, ladies.
Ah, you want us to buy our tickets, Major? Well, of course. Now, wherever did I put my purse?
It's under the cushion on your chair, dear. Where you put it when the Major knocked.
And if you want yours, dear, it's on the window ledge behind the Mary Gregory jug.
Thank you.
No, it's not about the tickets that I come. No, I'm afraid there's a little problem this year.
There are little problems every year, Major, but you always manage to surmount them. We marvel sometimes at the simple ingenuity of your solutions, don't we, dear?
Yes, we do.
Like the year the French chalk for the dance floor didn't arrive, and you ran the cricket roller all over those empty milk bottles and sprinkled the floor with the ground glass.
Yes. Very resourceful.
Don't remind me. The good lady wife is a bit cut up about that.
Anyway, what is the little problem this year, Major?
Well, little is probably not the right word, Doctor. No, the right word is probably big. We have a big problem this year. Lorna won't have the ball at all.
Won't have it?
She's disbanded the committee, cancelled the order for tickets and posters, and told the tent people we shall not be requiring the marquee.
She has been a busy little bee, hasn't she?
But can she do that, Major?
I don't know about can, Hilda. She's done it.
Let's face it, Hilda. The ball is always held at her house, and she always bears the brunt of the organization. So if she says it's off, and that's an end of it.
But the fancy dress ball was something we all look forward to, Evadne.
Yes, well, now it's something we can all look back on, isn't it?
But why, Major?
The saw that finally broke the camel's back, as it were, was the amount of damage done last year to Lorna's geraniums when that Apache war party crept up on those cowboys and caught them in the gazebo.
I don't remember that. I think I must have been dancing in the shrubbery at the time with that charming young man from the Chamber of Commerce, because he came as the Sundance Kid.
He came as Billy the Kid.
Oh, don't be so pedantic. It was a dance, Evadne, not an identification parade.
It was a wild night.
If one chooses a theme like the Wild West, one must expect a degree of wildness, Major.
Yes, possibly. But what about a couple of years back, when the theme was A Midsummer Night's Dream? I mean, on the lawns, amid the lanterns, you'd think it was impossible to be anything but utterly enchanting. And what happens? We end up with 3 tipsy Titanias and far too many bottoms.
Oh, yes, the entire rugby club, silly asses.
And what about all that horseplay in the ornamental ponds, eh?
Yes, God knows what they were up to. But you know, we never saw the garden hose again. And the water lilies have been decidedly sickly ever since. Lorna really loved those lilies. So, you see, her decision is a culmination of a number of unfortunate little incidents.
Well, I feel most strongly that the fancy dress ball is one of the traditions of Stackton Tressel that must under no circumstances be permitted to die.
Now, that is precisely what Lorna said you'd say.
Is it?
Careful, Hilda.
You see, Lorna has suggested that you might like to assume responsibility for organising the ball this year, and that it might even be possible to hold it here, at the old manse.
Has she? Well, Evadne, what do you think, dear?
I'm sorry, Major. It's out of the question.
Well, there you are then, Major. Evadne won't have it.
Not here, I won't.
Well, then perhaps we could hold it somewhere else. I mean, it really should not be allowed to die.
Now, that was Lorna's other idea.
She's certainly full of ideas, Lorna, isn't she, Major?
She never stops.
Never.
And she did suggest that, failing the old manse, we might, well, you might, find an outside venue. As she put it, and I use her very words, if anyone in Stackton can do it, those two dear ladies can.
Did she say that? Well, now, wasn't that nice of her, Evadne?
Yes, wasn't it, Hilda? Ever so nice.
Well, then, can I report mission successfully completed?
I think we could lift him off the hook, couldn't we, Evadne?
Well, dear, if we can do the entire ring cycle in a single day at crew, I think we should be able to organise a fancy dress ball in Stackton Tressel.
Bless you, bless you. I shall be able to get a round of golf in, but only if I run. Bless you, bless you.
Goodbye, Major.
Bye-bye. I think we have just lifted a great weight from that man's mind, Hilda.
Well, I wasn't going to say so, Daphne, but it really is about time that fancy dress ball was done properly. I mean, I know the poor woman does her best, but she simply doesn't have what it takes when it comes to balls.
No, I am forced to admit, Hilda, I've been longing to get my hands on it for years. But you know as well as I do, the only way to succeed with Lorna Derrenforth is to let her think she's coerced you.
Oh, Evadne, aren't we the wicked ones? Oh, that sounds like Maud. Oh, see, she's got Tom with her.
Then they'll be arguing, no doubt.
Listen. No, not a sound.
That means they're not talking.
Good morning, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Morning, all.
Morning, Maud, dear. Tom.
Good morning.
I'm not talking to him.
And I'm not talking to her.
Well, as long as you're both happy.
Sounds as though it's going to be a nice, quiet morning anyway, Hilda.
I never thought when I first held him in my arms that 30 years later he'd turn on me in a public place and shame me in front of a complete stranger in a Panama hat and two-tone shoes.
Oh, come off it, Ma. All I said was, watch where you're walking.
Watch where you're walking, indeed. We don't sound much to it, but you should have heard how he said it, Dame Hilda. Full of nasty undertones. Wicked insinuations.
Look, there's this totally deserted street, see? There's me and Ma walking up it, about 50 yards up on the same side as us. There's this man up a step-ladder, trimming his edge with an electric edge trimmer. Now, does that sound like a dangerous situation, or does it not?
Well, knowing certain of the people involved, Tom, dear, most certainly does.
Oh, Ma, you've got a reputation.
Now, fair's fair, Tom. How was I supposed to know that were going to happen?
That's why I shouted, watch where you're walking.
And if you hadn't shouted, I'd not have turned. So I'd not have tripped over these wires, and I'd not have pushed over these steps.
It really does sound nasty.
Was the man all right, Tom, dear?
Oh, I can see his face now, Doctor. His ladder leaning at a very nasty angle, with his little two-tone feet on top, in a desperate toe grip, his body arched over the footpath, his Panama hat's all awry, and his arms round the neck of his peacock.
Did what, dear?
We had one of them fancy edges, Dame, all cut in the shape of birds and things, and two beautiful great peacocks, one on either side of his gate.
He was obviously a topiarist.
I thought he were drunk. A sober man would have just fallen off them steps and not made such a fuss nor a fool of himself.
Oh, well, no real harm done, eh?
There wouldn't have been, Dame, if only Ma hadn't picked up that electric edge trimmer off the pavement.
She didn't.
She did.
She would.
Well, I didn't want no one tripping over it, did I? But I've no idea how sharp them things is. Nor how lively, neither.
Then why'd you have to start waving it about?
I weren't waving it, it were waving itself. That thing has a mind of its own. Sliced like butter it did, right through the gatepost. And right through his peacocks. And right right through his steps, about halfway up. Down they all comes tumbling in a heap.
Sounds like some latter-day Lizzie Borden.
Yes, with a penchant for pickup.
And the telegraph pole.
Oh, no.
Stupid place to put a telegraph pole. Right outside somebody's house. Mind, there weren't that many tiles broke. And that attic window looked rotten anyhow. There's no need to make a fuss. And do you know what that man did, Dame Hilda?
No.
He picked up his chimney pot.
His chimney pot?
One of the four that had come down the Well, he's in the house next door. And he raised it above his head, and I'm sure he'd have thrown that chimney pot at me if he hadn't tripped over his gutter. What was lying about on his lawn.
That's when we left.
Very sensible, Tom. It was obviously turning nasty.
No, I'm going to make us all a nice cup of tea and see if I can get my poor old hands to stop trembling.
I'll give you a hand, if you like, Ma.
You best stay right away from the kitchen, my lad. You've done quite enough damage for one day. Watch where you're walking, indeed. That's what started it all.
You know, if she wasn't my mother, I'd wonder why I ever had anything to do with her.
Oh, she means well, Tom, and she'd do anything for anybody.
Yes, especially damage.
Well, I'll be away then.
Oh, Tom, dear, while you're here, now you may be able to help. You see, we are going to organise a fancy dress ball this year, and we have to find somewhere to hold it. Any ideas?
Ain't they having it up at the big house this year, then?
No, dear. It was getting a bit too much for them. Well, the Dillon Force aren't as young as they were, alas.
So you're looking for somewhere a bit unusual, eh?
Mm-hmm.
The castle moat,
Yeah.
the abbey ruins,
Yeah.
that sort of thing?
Well, that's the sort of thing exactly, isn't it, Evadne?
Yes, dear, exactly. Or if wet in Westminster Cathedral.
Well, if I can borrow your blower for a bit, I'll see what I can do. Leave it to me, okay?
Thanks very much, Tom, dear. That's very sweet of you.
No trouble.
Of course, the other thing we need, Hilda, is a theme. Something that's not been done before.
I know what you mean, dear. The sort of thing that would never occur to Lorna Dillon Force. Cowboys and Indians, I ask you.
Tell you what, Hilda.
Yeah.
I'll rummage through the music. It might give us an idea.
Oh, yes, dear. And we can find an appropriate song at the same time, because they're bound to ask us to sing, dear. They always do.
Ah, and now we're organising it, Hilda. We don't have to wait to be asked. We can sing whether they like it or not. Now wait a minute. How about the gendarme duet? Now that's quite good. The theme could be law and order.
I really don't think, though, that I could face an entire evening in serge and lace-up boots.
No.
No, I should like to represent something symbolic, dear.
You mean like a needle in a haystack?
If you're going to be dim, dear, you could go as a sock H lamp. I mean, you've got the perfect figure for it. No, I want something like Justice in a long sequin dress with a train.
I don't think Justice wears sequins, dear.
Well, I am going to a ball, Evadne, not to sit on the Old Bailey roof.
Come, dear. Any luck?
Yes, Doctor. I think I've got you fixed up.
Where's it to be, then? The castle moat or the abbey ruins?
The Co-op Hall.
The Co-op Hall?
Well, I tried quite a few places.
Yes.
But quite frankly, as soon as they found out what it was for,
Yes.
they didn't want to know.
We played worse places, Hilda.
You may have done, Evadne. I have not.
Now, here's your chance. When can we see it, Tom?
I'll run you down there now. If you don't mind sharing the back of a van with a sack of cement and me chimney sweeping gear.
Let's go. Oh, come along, Hilda. Do cheer up. I'm sure we shall be able to work wonders with a lot of tulle and a little imagination.
I dare say the caretaker will have a few ideas of his own about what you can do. Mind you, he's not an easy man.
Tulle? You're not having tulle. It's absolutely out of the question.
What do you mean?
Well, fire regulations.
But surely.
There's no such thing as surely when it comes to fire regulations.
So what do you normally do for decorations when you have a do here?
We use our own stuff, don't we? It's specifically treated with inflammable substances, so it's not a risk to life and limb like the stuff you want to bring in. Well, if you're planning a holocaust, it's over my dead body.
Very well, then. What do your own things consist of?
Well, it's 2 strings of red, white and blue pennants. It goes from that nail there over to that screw there, and from that screw over to that one. 30 flags, 25 feet.
I bet that's a sight worth seeing.
Very spectacular. Anything else?
Of course. There's the white ensign.
Just the one.
Certainly not. A whole string of them.
Don't tell me. 30 flags, 25 feet.
Precisely.
You lashed out on the flags, didn't you?
Oh, there's a painted backdrop for the stage.
Oh, only the painted backdrop for the stage, Evadne.
I wouldn't get too excited if I were you, dear. It's probably of flags.
It's a wood.
A wood? Well, how original.
2 oaks either side, 4 bushes of uncertain nature. A rabbit left front, a squirrel top right. 20 feet by 15. That's not the squirrel, that's the... They use it in the pantomime.
Well, they would, yeah.
Which pantomime?
Well, every pantomime. Oh, yeah, and there's a banner for across the room. Hail the conquering hero, Co.
Co, dear, how do you spell it?
C-O. It should have been come, but the banner were too long, so we had to trim it up a bit.
You see, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Do we really have to have those fire buckets and hoses on the wall?
You got your heart set on a holocaust, haven't you?
Well, it looks just like one of those brick air raid shelters.
Perhaps our theme should be a night in the Second World War, Hilda.
No, it must be symbolism, Evadne. The spirit of Britain at war.
I was joking, Hilda. I don't really think we ought to suggest war, dear. Not with the Rugger Club coming.
You've really got your knife into those poor boys, haven't you? Anyway, I've got a better idea. Patriotism. I bet they're patriotic. They're built like patriots. And I can come as the spirit of England.
What about the rest of us, Hilda?
You can come as anything you like. Use your imagination. But the theme shall be patriotism. And we shall choose a marvelous patriotic song. Then everyone can learn it and they can all join in. And the rafters will ring with England's name.
Well, that's settled then. Red, white and blue pennants, white ensigns, Union flag. I might even wear my medal.
And so it was that Stackton was soon consumed by the fun of dressing up. Evadne, well, she decided to go as bold as Sarah. And I must say that when I agreed with this suggestion, I had no idea how ferocious she would look, glowering over her pince-nez with a 4-foot shield in one hand and a boar hunter spear in the other. But I do know that if the Romans had run into her, we'd have got shot of them a good deal sooner than we did. I stuck to my original idea of going as the spirit of England, and I slipped into a loose, shimmering ball gown made entirely of red, white, and blue. I carried in my left hand a scroll inscribed Magna Carta, and concealed my beaded evening bag in a cardboard mock-up of the Doomsday Book. Well, the day finally arrived, and punctually at 8 o'clock, anybody who was anybody, as well as a good few who weren't anybody, jammed the Co-op hall. Well, I must say, Evadne, everybody's really gone to town, haven't they? This dreary old hole looks just like the field of the cloth of gold, only English. Oh, there's more. Now, dear, let's go across. Who on earth is she supposed to be? She's all dressed up in black with a feather boa, button boots, and a birdcage in her hand.
God knows, but she looks like a Victorian taxidermist.
Not so loud there, she's coming over.
Good evening, Dame Hilda. Doctor.
Good evening, Maud.
Hello, Maud.
I do hope you won't mind me asking you this, dear. Just idle curiosity. Who exactly are you supposed to be?
I'm Mrs. Potterton.
And who on earth was Mrs. Potterton?
Well, she was my mother's next-door neighbour during the First War. There was no one more patriotic than Mrs. Potterton. She wouldn't even let her family have German measles. Not while the war were on. That's absolutely forbid it, she did.
There, Mom. Don't you want your stuffed canary? You dropped it in the car.
Oh, Tom, I never. Oh, pop it in me cage. That canary was Mrs. Potterton's pride and joy.
Now, say, Tom, dear, the theme is supposed to be patriotism. Why have you come as Guy Fawkes?
Well, he was English, wasn't he?
Yes, but he tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament, didn't he, dear?
Well, I think that was very patriotic of him.
Oh, Tom, there you are. May I have a quiet word with you?
You look a bit worried, Major. Is everything all right downstairs at the door?
Well, as a matter of fact, Evadne, the Rugger Club has just arrived.
Oh, no. What are they dressed as this time?
Oh, no. They look absolutely splendid.
Oh.
They've come as the Queen's beasts. You know. The heraldic animals, the lion, the unicorn, the stag, the bear, the bull, the boar, and so on.
So virile.
Their intention apparently being at some suitable moment during the evening to provide an heraldic tableau.
What an absolutely lovely idea. How very imaginative. Oh, I do hope, Evadne, that you will now take back everything you said about that silly business with their bottoms.
Well, I haven't quite finished yet. You see, the unicorn was just passing through the door when a group of yobbos lounging on the wall across the road passed one or two loud and ribald remarks about the length and position of the horn.
Not a fight, Major.
No, Maud, a battle royal. Punks versus Queen's beasts.
Hang about. I'll rustle up a few of the lads.
Good idea, but discretion, Tom. We don't want to cause alarm in the hall.
Don't worry, Major. Now, you and Tom cope with the war beneath us. Evadne and I will prevent panic on the home front.
Come on, Tom.
Okay, Major.
Evadne, dear, to the piano. We'll do the patriotic song now, then get everybody singing.
Very well.
All right. Give us a chord there, aloud. And now to get the ball rolling, as it were, and before we hand the stage over to Freddie Waters and his banjoleros, here is the song we asked you all to learn. The song that reminds us that tonight the toast is England.
England, more England, our land that gave us birth. Oh, light comes and water, the fairest land on earth. Oh, England, it's England, the land that we adore. God give thee great glory and God thee evermore.
Good heavens, Evadne, it's getting worse. Now come along, everybody. Here's your chance to demonstrate just how well you learn the chorus. And this time, let's really raise the roof. Come along, dear piano, everyone.